I find myself often asking, how do I tell if I'm an adult? I've met older people that are immature and act like they're still in high school. So what does it take to be an adult? The best I could come up with is not dying before you turn 18. So I have a hard time identifying as an adult, especially since I still feel like a kid. That being said, I want to talk with other, quote, adults and learn from them. After all, the quickest and typically the most painless way to learn is through others. Somehow, we're adults. All right, Dylan. So,
what's up, man?
Happy New Year, first off.
Happy New Year, boys.
It's that time. We are 9 hours into 2022. It's going to be a good year. So, for this podcast, we're going to talk about UFC.
Yes, sir.
So, before we get into that, I know you, on the previous episode of the podcast, the one that was like mainly about you, you're big into like fantasy football, basketball. You don't do much baseball.
I do it, but it's more of a donation.
Yeah, more of a donation.
Yeah, it's more of a get through it football time.
You don't like it. Well, what got you into UFC?
Well, basically all the sports shut down due to COVID, and UFC, Dana White, they went to Abu Dhabi, which we'll talk about in a couple of these cards. Yeah, early January. It actually start all year for that. But yeah, for I want to say 2-3 months, UFC was the only sport doing anything. So
yeah.
After losing money on Korean baseball and spelling bees on ESPN, we found an actual sport, and here we are.
Yeah. Now, you didn't watch it before that? No boxing or anything?
I would watch like the Ronda Rousey or Brock Lesnar pay-per-views or
the super big fights.
For CM Punk to lose, all those things. But I watch it every Saturday now. I'm hooked.
Yeah, you're hooked. Yeah, and you do those big write-ups too for the Patreon.
I've already sent them to the boys. So.
Yeah, listen, those write-ups are like, I love UFC, and I'll talk about fighting all day long. But man, I don't read those full write-ups you do. This is like 12 pages.
That's fair, man. I wish I wrote like that in high school. When I went to community college.
It was a good year of fights, man. The UFC did a good job of putting on some freaking fights. Now, what do you want to talk about first? Because I've got just like what 2021 was, just like a recap.
Okay.
So like we started out with Holloway versus Cater.
I'm cool with, we could break it down like that, and then do like awards after.
Yeah, Holloway versus Cater. So did you watch? You watched pretty much all the events, or you know about all of them?
I would say 95%.
Yeah, Holloway versus Cater was like a crazy fight because like Cater's really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good, and then it's just crazy because Max Holloway showed him that there's levels to it.
100%. The fact that Holloway was talking to the commentators for like the last 2 rounds,
and he wasn't even just talking to them.
Yeah,
he wasn't even looking at his opponent.
And he still getting significant strikes.
And started talking to the people. And boxing. And like missing punches as the dude's punching at him. He's like, I'm the best boxer in UFC.
That was a signal for what was to come for sure. I don't know how Cater didn't get finished, because especially a 5-round main event.
Yeah, they could have stopped that fight.
100%.
They could have stopped that fight. There was several. Yeah, kudos to Calvin Cater for surviving.
Yeah,
because I mean, I would have easily been down probably in that second round. That would have.
For sure.
He was a straight savage
for sure now, because he takes a year off of Max Holloway. Now he's got, I think, Giga early January. I think it was the first main event of the year.
Is it? So, okay. He's got one coming up.
Yeah. He had to take a whole year off to recover from, it was over 200 hits, I think. Holloway had.
Boy's his face looked like hamburger meat.
Yeah, it did.
Was a little tore up.
It got pressed for sure.
Now, the first UFC numbered event was 257.
Right.
Do you know what 257 was?
Poirier McGregor.
Yeah, Poirier McGregor. All right. Did you watch it?
I did. I bet on Poirier that night.
Ooh. That's a good bet. What made you bet on Poirier? Because after watching the first one, you see Poirier get knocked out really, really early on.
Yeah.
What made you feel confident that he was going to win?
Yeah, he definitely got whooped a while ago. But the main thing for me was, I feel like Poirier, last couple fights I've seen, he's kind of like leveled up since the last McGregor fight.
He's so much smarter.
Yeah.
So much smarter.
The cage IQ. He just bar fights. He's willing to go in there. McGregor rocked him early in the first round, but Poirier just got that resilience where he just keeps walking forward. He's just one of those dudes.
Yeah, McGregor, he hadn't fought in a while in the UFC. And so we just didn't know what to expect. I mean, he's always good, and we always can anticipate him being really good.
Right.
But Dustin Poirier, I knew going into that fight, he just was a different person than the first fight. So I didn't the odds. I don't know when those odds came from, but I don't. Yeah, I do remember seeing that, and I understood that Conor was going to be the slight favorite. But
Yeah.
I had I believe I said that I thought Poirier would win. I think I said if Poirier wins, it'll be by decision or by a submission later in the fight.
Yeah.
And if the fight stopped earlier, I think it'd be Conor by TKO or knockout.
Right.
And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. I know the reason I was off McGregor because like they're both so talented. So for McGregor to be a 3-1 favorite, it just seemed like there was more value on the Poirier side anyway.
Yeah.
Like if McGregor was plus 250, I probably would have went McGregor just because they're both pretty evenly matched skill set wise.
Yeah, and I hope Dustin got paid so much from that fight.
He
That was
deserves it.
a very should I tell him the story, Colton, of how we watched that fight?
Yeah.
So that night, that was like the first big UFC fight where they're like, okay, no illegal streaming is gonna happen. Like
Right.
Dana White was like, friggin' try me, son.
Yeah.
Like, there's
He wants
no
all the
illegal
money
streaming.
2021.
Right. And so Colton has always went on the ESPN Plus app on his phone and bought the pay-per-view, and then he just logs into his account on his PlayStation to watch the event. Well, he went to do that night, and it wouldn't register on his PlayStation that he had bought it on his phone.
Gotcha.
So it wanted him to buy it again, and he's like, "I'm not gonna buy it again.
Yeah.
That's $140. I'm not buying it again."
Yeah. No
And
way.
we couldn't get it to work all night. So next thing you know, we're watching the main card on his phone because it showed that he
Classic.
purchased it on his phone.
Hey, you gotta watch it somehow.
Dude, we called the UFC that night, like their like customer support line or whatever, and we were on hold for like an hour or something like that. We got through, and the guy's like, "Oh, we're sorry. This is crazy because Connor's returned, so
Yeah.
a lot of people were watching it." And he's like, "Well, refund your money since you guys weren't able to. Like, we didn't tell him we watched it on his
Right.
phone, but
Yeah.
it was just a pain in the ass."
Either way, you should get refunded.
They didn't. They
'cause
never refunded it.
I think that's just what they were saying to people.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, they never refunded it.
We're coming for you,
Yeah.
UFC.
Nah, they can take my money. They did a
Okay.
good job this year.
All right.
So
We'll let it slide then.
what?
You get a free fight. So.
Oh yeah,
There you
the
go.
pay per view that they didn't make us pay for.
That's
What was,
true.
that was freaking Texera. That was UFC 267. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Texera.
Oldest champ.
Yeah.
Real quick on this card, I thought it was interesting too. Looking back, the two main event winners, Poirier and Michael Chandler. That was Michael Chandler's debuting
Yeah.
fight.
Pull that full card up, Colton.
But
Please.
it's interesting seeing Poirier and
Oh,
Chandler.
Okay.
Those
Yeah.
are the two recent victims to Oliveira.
Oliveira.
The-
Can't wait to
the
talk about him
co-main
a
in
little
the main
bit.
event.
Yeah.
What's your boner for Oliveira?
Yeah. I do be liking Charles Oliveira.
And now
He's just one of my
Marina
favorite
Rodriguez
fighters.
down there. She's a contender in her division.
Yep.
She
That's
won
a
a
card.
yeah.
Yeah. That Dan Hooker that Dan Hooker versus Chandler fight was so upsetting to me. I did not like to see what happened to Dan Hooker happen so
Yeah.
quick, especially
First round.
because of COVID and everything like that.
Right.
He was knocked out so quick, and
Mhm.
the laws he got knocked out in like 2 minutes and 31
Yeah, he got
seconds.
flatlined.
Yeah, and he had to like quarantine in a hotel room for I think it was like 8 weeks or something like that
Right.
before he could be back with his family.
Yeah.
So 8 weeks
It's crazy.
for 2 minutes and 31
Yeah.
seconds. I was like, boy, got me messed up.
Crazy.
All right, next event. So that was Poirier McGregor 2.
Yeah.
Man, okay, so quick side story too. So we're all like huddled on Colton's couch,
Yeah.
and he's got his phone, and we're watching UFC 257, watching McGregor and Poirier, and man, I friggin' lost my voice that night. When I saw Conor go down, because we
Yeah.
were watching those leg kicks, and boy,
Right.
that was a close fight. The first round
Yeah.
was so good, it
It
was
could
so
have
back
went
and
either way.
forth.
I agree.
Yeah,
And Poirier almost got finished round one.
dude, he
really did.
got rocked for sure.
McGregor's got hands.
Yeah, he for sure got rocked.
Yeah.
And so when he went in that second round, I was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when Conor fell, because
Yep.
he knew that those leg kicks
Uh-huh.
got, he invested early with those
Yep.
calf kicks.
For real.
Man, it was so good.
There was
I
one-
friggin' flew up from the couch and started running around
That's how it
Colton's
goes.
apartment.
Yep. It
Man,
brings
I
the
was-
childhood out in you. It really does.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, because
Yeah.
he's who I wanted to win.
right.
But it was hard to pick too because Conor was being so respectful for that fight that I was like, I really like. I
Right.
just want Dustin to win because I feel like he's put so much work in. I mean, I know they all do, but it's just
Right.
I just wanted to see Dustin get that W back.
No, I get that. There was one fight card, if you could scroll down real quick. I think it was Chess and Magny. This one was funny to me because Eastern time, it started at noon. So at the time, I was still working at the school, and hopefully my boss doesn't listen to this, but literally all day, I'd be like yelling at the kid, like, oh, go send time out. And I'm like, because it ended around the time I got off, around 5 or 6 o'clock.
You're an addict.
It was over
bro.
there in Abu Dhabi, so it was a completely different time zone over there.
It was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it was a
Oh, no
random,
shit.
yeah,
On a
random work
Wednesday
day.
at noon.
Yep.
Boy, some people got in trouble with their bosses that day.
100%.
Somebody got caught.
I took a lot of bathroom breaks that day.
And then, okay, so then the next event that I have marked on my list is something that I basically made a list of the events that excited me. There's
Yeah.
there's some that I didn't write down, but
Okay.
Overeem versus Volkov.
Okay.
Didn't who won that one? I don't even remember. I just remember after.
believe
think
Volkov.
I think Volkov won that. Yeah, because that was the fight that Overeem. Like after that, he lost his contract with the UFC.
Yeah, and he's not.
They didn't-
He's not with them anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty sure.
he fights for like
Yeah, I
one.
think he went
or
on like a
something.
2-game losing streak or 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah, yeah. Volkov's just a savage dude.
Oh, that Corey Sandhagen knee.
Mm-hmm.
That was that.
Oh, was
fight
that the
card.
flying knee?
Yeah, Yeah.
Performance of the night, the knockout. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Are you sure was that the knockout? I thought the knockout was somebody different. Was it
No, it was
Frankie Edgar?
Frankie Edgar first round.
Oh man, R.I.P.
Yeah.
In 28 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. And then the next one I got after that's Usman versus Burns, which I didn't watch that. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure I was hunting when that
Okay.
fight happened. Usman's a savage. I like Gilbert Burns a lot. I know that they had some animosity because they used to be training partners.
Yeah.
But who else was on that card, Colton?
While we pulled, Burns was just absolutely outmatched by Usman. Like
I
that was
think-
another example of there was levels to this.
Oh well, I think that Usman is so used to that pressure, and I don't
Right.
think Gilbert Burns was.
Right.
And
100%.
I think Gilbert Burns felt the weight of the pressure, and Kamaru had nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Well, except for the belt, obviously. But
yeah.
Kamaru went in there just as a savage. And,
100%.
did what he does.
He got one of my awards later on. Spoiler alert.
He got one of your what?
Awards.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I think he's probably got one of mine. Hell, I mean, all right.
Yeah,
So
there wasn't a ton of, other than the Usman fight, it was kind of a weak one, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I watched that card.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know any of those people. I definitely didn't. Was that's not when you went hunting with me? No. Okay. Then the next one that I have written down was Blades versus Lewis,
Okay.
which
This one was a sad one for me.
I mean, Blades just turned into a
He
got
got
rigor mortis
pancaked.
damn near.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Blades
He
was a pretty
went
heavy
stiff.
favorite in this one.
Was he?
And
Well, you can't count that right hand.
I've
of
learned
Lewis
my
out.
lesson. I can't. I'll never bet against Derek Lewis again.
When Lewis and Gain fought, I was like,
Yeah.
Cyril Gane is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. I was like, but if you bet against Derek
Yeah.
Lewis's right hand, you're crazy to me.
Cyril Gane's probably the only person I've bet against Derek Lewis and won on. Like I've lost with Curtis Blades. I lost with Dawkins recently. I can't bet against.
Man,
that
why
guy
do
anymore.
you hate Derek Lewis? His balls are hot.
I
man.
know. I don't know what it is, man. Cyril Gane was the only one.
Do you follow Derek Lewis on Instagram?
Yeah, he's a must follow.
Yeah, for sure.
He's so entertaining.
for sure.
It's so
And
funny.
the funny part is he puts like, it's like, yeah.
A lot of UFC fighters are good follows.
There was a Spanish one the other day where he just put like, he's okay in Spanish.
Yeah.
It was like a
That's
Spanish
awesome.
video.
I remember this particular card though. Curtis Blades was the last person I needed to win a parlay. And after round 1, I was like, Blades might have won, just his grappling. And then Lewis just
Can you? Yeah,
takes
yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, Derek Lewis when he fought Alexander Volkov,
Yeah.
he was losing that fight for
whole
5
time,
rounds.
yeah.
Was it 4 rounds, 5 rounds?
I think it's the 5th round.
Yeah, and just friggin' caught him with an
Yep.
overhand right and said buenas noches, good night. Yep.
Your money is never safe if you're betting against Derek Lewis.
You just never know. But then
2021 lesson learned.
yeah. Yeah. I love his post fight interviews
Yeah.
whenever he wins.
He's so entertaining. He's
Yeah.
good for the sport.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh for sure. Okay. The next one I got is Rosenstruck versus Gain. That was
Okay.
after that.
Yeah.
That's when you start to see Gain really start to pull away from his competition
Yeah.
too. That was an incredibly boring fight.
It was.
Yeah, that was like we watched that and I literally was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah. Rosenstruck's never been someone to intrigue me.
yeah.
I think Gain's so technical. He intrigues me. Like a lot of people don't think Gain's fights
Well,
are interesting.
He's just crazy how heavy he is, but he
Right.
doesn't fight like he's that heavy.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's not flat-footed. He's like bouncing around, like
Right.
moving back and forth. Like
He's really fluid to be that big. Like,
yeah,
I wish I moved that good.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's like just a genetic freak when it
Right.
comes to like how he's built. He's jacked. He's in great shape, and his cardio seems to be very good.
Yeah.
No one's been able. I mean, I'm really interested to see how his fight with Ngannou is going to
Yeah,
go.
that's gonna be. It's two different styles.
Yeah. All right. So then after that, I mean, that was an incredibly boring fight.
It was. I agree.
So after that fight was another relatively boring fight. Jan Blachowicz versus Adesanya. Now, I was super hyped for that fight.
Yeah, I was really hyped.
I'm going to say this. I'm never excited for Amanda Nunes's fights because every time she's always the hella favorite.
Right.
And obviously,
Yeah, look at those odds.
obviously, I was wrong.
Right.
But I've always been like, oh, every time I see Amanda Nunes is fighting, I'm like, oh, she's going to kill this chick today.
Right.
Oh, she's going to, like,
Yep.
it just seems like they're just putting like animals in front of her.
100%.
Yeah. And she just,
Go eat.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Card with the
This was a really good card. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So is that the full, is there more fights underneath? So, yeah, Thiago Santos doesn't do much for me anymore. So Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober.
Islam's a problem.
First of all, Drew Dober's jaw
Yeah.
is just giant. Boy looks like he has been eating cornbread since he was like born.
He looks like handsome Squidward.
it really does.
Handsome Squidward. Or
I-
that dude Squilliam, the rich one.
Yeah, but that's where I really saw Islam, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, that is Khabib,
Yeah, 'cause-
a better stand up version of Khabib with
Yeah.
with
And Drew Dober's a fantastic grappler. So to get submitted like that.
well, Islam's just he's got like next world.
Yep.
Like, so Khabib held people down and like smashed them. He didn't get that many submissions in comparison to Islam, I don't
Right.
believe. But he's got some pretty good submissions.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see him versus some people that we'll talk about in a little bit. But so then you got Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. Was that for the belt?
Yeah.
That's when he won.
Yeah, but it wasn't even. That was when they did three belts.
Yeah.
Three belts
Yeah.
all at one time. So,
Yeah, that was like the big one.
oh man,
to
what
start.
I forgot about that fight because I believe I had like a disappointment of the year, and
The biggest one for me, or besides.
no, it was probably the second biggest disappointment, the Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, because okay, Aljamain, I really wanted him to do well, but in that fight you could clearly see that Peter Yan was starting to pull away.
Yeah.
Peter Yan was starting to get
At the
really,
time
really-
of live betting, Peter Yan was an 8-1 favorite. So Aljamain was clearly losing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was really fortunate that night because I actually bet Sterling. So the whole time watching the fight, I'm like, terrible bet. And then
Oh, you're just like, oh, where'd my money go?
then I saw the knee and I was like, are we going to get a win via DQ? And then I was like,
Wow, that is
it was incredibly lucky
incredibly, yeah.
because anytime they rematch, everyone should be thinking Peter Yan wins that.
Oh yeah,
100%.
no doubt. No, especially after the Sandhagen fight.
Yeah.
Peter Yan versus Sandhagen.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Because that one wasn't even
yeah.
close to me.
because I think it's in Aljamain's. Excuse me. I think it's in Aljamain's head now
Right.
that he knows that Peter was starting to pull away,
100%.
and that's
It's going to be in the
gonna.
back of his mind while he's fighting, which is huge red flag. huge
I
red flag.
mean, Dustin was the only one so far
Right.
this year that I know of that fought somebody that has
Yeah.
beat him and then came back and to
Right.
beat that person. That's
Yeah.
to me that's a very difficult
It's
thing.
tough.
Once you get beaten once by somebody, it's hard to not remember that.
Peter Yan striking, so
Oh, he's
So
just,
magnificent.
and he's so hard to keep on the ground.
yeah,
yeah. The him versus Sandhagen fight was amazing.
yeah.
That
That went all 5 rounds, right?
Yeah,
I think it went
yeah,
to decision.
surprisingly too.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I thought someone was gonna get finished.
Yeah, and then you got Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Real quick, Megan Anderson left the UFC after this, right?
Probably.
I think she realized like I don't belong here. I think
I
she's
don't
somewhere
know.
else.
is she
I think so.
possible? Amanda Nunes is just a savage.
She looked like death on the weight scale. I remember Megan Anderson looked like she was just seeing ghost, which I probably would too if I was staring at Amanda Nunes at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
weigh-ins.
Yeah. Everybody but one person did, I guess.
Yeah,
Everybody but one person was scared.
we'll get to that.
Yeah. So Jan Blachowicz versus Adesanya, like, some of Adesanya's fights are really entertaining,
Yeah.
and then there's some of his fights that are just a bust. Like
Yeah.
Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. Like, I think part of the reason that one was so unfun to watch just because the fight before that one
Right.
was Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili.
Right.
And that fight was a freaking banger.
Blew the roof off the
Yeah,
house. Right.
freaking banger.
Yeah.
And so to see Israel fight, Yoel Romero right after that, and they basically it was like leg kicks and
Right.
keeping distance.
Yeah.
Like it was not much. There might have been like 10 strikes thrown in that fight. It was just so
Right.
boring.
Yeah, this one was a snoozer.
Yeah. Well,
There was a lot of hype.
It wasn't terrible, but Jan was definitely respectful of Izzy, and Izzy was definitely respectful of
Right.
Jan as far as their power,
Yeah.
the reach.
I feel like Izzy had to since he was going
Izzy's-
to weight classes.
Izzy,
You know?
he should have gained more weight for that fight.
I agree.
I don't blame him for not doing it either, though.
Right.
Because
Yeah, you can see both sides. For
yeah, but
sure.
he definitely got laid on top of.
Uh-huh.
Definitely got laid on
Yeah,
top
just
of.
sit on him.
So then we have Brunson versus Holland.
Oh,
Kevin Holland had a great 2020.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland, he's one of. We've talked about him before, right? What do you think about
Yeah.
Kevin Holland?
I loved everything in 2020, and then 2021, I think he lost
He had a
all
rough
3
year.
fights, I believe.
He had a rough year.
And he's so likable,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
But
ending
it
2021.
sucks. It sucks the way he's lost in 2021 because it's all been like he subbed
They're sitting
in
on
for
him.
Vittori,
Right.
like the Brunson versus Holland
Yeah.
fight. Like he just got laid on top of.
Yeah.
It took one person to
Sit
realize
on
that
him.
his wrestling is just
Right.
not up to par, and then
Yeah.
every fight after that, he's been laid on top of.
Yeah.
Which I guess was just we'll get to that next one.
Yeah.
But
Smart
so
man gets paid.
Brunson versus Holland. Holland is one of the most entertaining
He
people.
is. He really is.
Yeah.
I went back and watched his Dana White Contender Series, and he was doing it back then too, before he was
Yeah.
even named.
Listen, if you try and fake who you are, you can only last for so long.
Right.
And
And he is probably my favorite Instagram follow. I don't know if you
really,
have.
he'll just send videos of him like
He's
like,
just wild.
crazy.
He's always into something for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
he needs his own podcast if he doesn't have one already.
To this day, he still makes memes about Derek Brunson.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Derek Brunson, he's one of those, like, he's not entertaining, but he always finds the one weakness of a fighter and just takes advantage of
Yeah,
it
he's
and wins as an underdog.
I'm not gonna lie. When I hear Derek Brunson fighting, I was like, okay, are there any good fights that I want to
Hey,
watch that
yeah,
night? Like,
fair.
no offense, Derek Brunson, but
Right.
I'm
Hey.
not the hugest fan. I mean,
Yeah.
I would watch him fight somebody who if I was really interested in the person, like when Holland fought him, I was
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah,
but
you gotta watch Holland fight.
that was incredibly boring. But he still got the W. Hard to blame him.
I just think it's so cool how Holland fought 2 main events in a 3-week span right there.
Yeah.
You see his face right there twice. That never happens.
Yeah, March 20th and April 10th.
That's
yeah.
so crazy to me.
Yep. So then after Brunson versus Holland, you had the dethroning
Yep. The
of Stipe
heavyweight bout.
Miocic.
Mm-hmm.
Miocic versus Ngannou. I mean, it was hard to see who was going to win that fight.
Yeah.
Because Stipe, probably one of the best heavyweight champs of all time.
Yeah.
Francis just has that kiss of death. He
He's
just
brutal.
needs one. And you could tell that Francis got a lot better in that
Yeah.
fight.
His whole game just looks so much better.
Yep. And then you had one of the submissions of the year contenders
Yep.
with Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque,
Yep.
which is crazy because Vicente Luque isn't a submission guy. He's
Right.
he's a stand-up like kickboxer, I
Yeah.
believe. So he that was the fight right before that. I don't think I watched that fight either. I saw it the next day, I
Yeah.
believe.
It was a quick one. It was first round. I have an award for Tyron Woodley later.
Yeah, do
Yep.
you?
Yep.
For
Not a good
hap-
one.
Probably the person who you're happiest to be out of the UFC. But no, I'm just kidding.
Sean O'Malley out here.
Sean O'Malley, man, I'm curious to see where he's going to be. His striking is just phenomenal.
He's really good for the sport.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Francis versus Stipe, man, that was a. It's heartbreaking because Stipe is such a likable guy, but then
Yeah.
again, so is Francis. So
Right.
it was cool to see him, knowing what happened to him with
Right.
him like coming from like Cameroon,
Right.
Africa, and
Yep.
yeah, it's just a
The
savage.
Stipe one was interesting to me because I bet on Stipe, which obviously I lost. But at the time, I was like, the champion is the underdog? Like, that just doesn't even sound right in your head.
But it happens a lot, man.
Yeah.
Some of those contenders, like
Yeah.
when you watch Francis fight, you tell me you don't think he's going
Right.
to starch everybody. I mean,
Right.
he has to cut weight to get to 265,
Right.
and he's jacked.
Yeah.
He's got like an
ginormous.
8-pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just huge.
For sure.
I mean, he could hit you with a jab and knock me out.
They
Like,
need to put him in a super heavyweight division. Just make one more.
yeah, but who'd he fight then?
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Like
that's facts.
Brock Lesnar. I mean, Brock Lesnar would come back and just not cut weight. Yeah.
Yep.
So Tyron's no longer in the UFC, is he?
No.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah. You could tell he
He
was
should
just
be
fu-
done everywhere.
You could tell he was.
We'll get to him.
You could tell that Tyrone is his last couple of fights in the UFC that he
Yeah.
was just doing it for a paycheck, and
Yeah.
then especially when it came to the Paul brothers,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
He did come. Vicente almost got rocked in that fight too.
Yeah.
But then we got potentially the most boring fighter of all time, way more so than Brunson. Marvin Vittori.
Marvin Vittori.
It is not. He does not take risks.
No.
I mean, it's funny because if you're a fighter, you would think,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, but who would you rather watch, Justin Gaethje
Oh, you know.
or Marvin Vittori? Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like Justin Gaethje's gonna go out there and he's gonna put his life on the line, but boy, howdy,
Right.
he's gonna make it a fight,
Yeah.
and that's why the viewership of Justin Gaethje is probably way higher than it is of
Right.
Marvin Vittori.
Vittori's big thing is he has like the whole Italian background rooting for him. Like he's probably the only like ranked Italian fighter, I believe. So he's got a big fan base over there. So
Yeah,
the UFC always loves to market those.
yeah. And then Holland was a sub in. Who was he supposed to fight that night? Do you remember?
Oh, I forgot. Holland filled in on like a week notice.
Was
though.
it supposed to be Marvin Vittori and Paulo Costa that fight?
Yeah,
Yeah, because that was the one where Paulo was like, "Oh, I never signed the contract."
yeah,
Paulo Costa,
such a L.
biggest bust. I was super hyped
I forgot
for
about
Costa versus Adesanya.
Yep.
That was 2020.
Adesanya did, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Adesanya said, "There's levels to this bitch. Watch out."
Adesanya disrespected him after.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
a good fight.
Yeah.
For Adesanya at least.
yeah. And then so Vittori just my favorite thing was Vittori basically he won by decision, but it was one of the just most unfun fights to
Yeah.
watch. And
He just sat on Holland.
yeah, pretty much. And he got the win, and it was like, okay, but Kevin Holland, when they fought, he like, what was he ranked? Like, if anything, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was barely ranked in comparison to
Right.
Marvin,
Yeah.
to Vittori. And then, you know, he's like, gets a title shot after that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, bro.
Yeah, I don't think a win against Holland's like, oh, let me get Adesanya
Yeah,
again.
especially the way he won. If he stood up
Right.
and went toe to toe with Holland and knocked him
Right.
out, I'd be like, all right, cool.
Right.
But he like just laid on top of him.
And then Adesanya just has his number. The fact that Vittori keeps thinking he's beating Adesanya, that's
Bro,
really sad.
Vittori, yeah, he needs to lay off the red wine.
100%.
So then you got Whitaker versus Gastelum. Okay, Kelvin Gastelum is one of my favorite people to watch fight,
Okay.
and I don't know why.
Okay.
I just you did
We
you
have our
watch?
people.
Did you have did you watch Gastelum versus Adesanya?
I did. I went back and watched it.
Yeah, because I didn't
was a
watch
good
it
one.
at the time either.
Yeah.
But Kelvin he's not scared to go toe to toe
No,
with
for sure.
anybody.
Yep.
So I like watching him fight. Him versus Robert Whitaker, I felt like was relatively entertaining.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Robert Whitaker a lot. I'm curious to see if he can what's going to happen with him versus Adesanya.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens. I think that's happening beginning of this year.
Yeah, it's an early one. I think it's either late January, early February, I think.
Yeah. I'm excited about that one.
And I like that card because where's he at? The Jacob Malkoon guy right here.
Uh-huh.
He's like the prodigy of Robert Whitaker. So it was pretty cool to see them both on the main
Okay.
card.
Huh.
And they both got the dub.
I didn't know that. I don't know most of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to learn more of these new fighters and stuff.
Right.
It's just
I got you. You got to read the write-ups.
Yeah. Got to read the full write up. Yeah.
Do your
Yeah.
homework.
I got to do the homework that you do, man.
Right.
All right, so the next thing, friggin' April 24th.
Man.
Oh, buddy, Colton was excited. Look at him.
I have a
clicking
funny
as
story
fast as he
about this
can.
one.
What'd you got?
I was actually camping for this one, and I didn't watch anything except the last three fights. The Usman Masvidal, and then the Rose fight, and then the Valentina.
First of all,
That was some good fights.
It was
yeah,
all three of those were.
The whole card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I went back and watched it.
Uriah Hall. It was. I think Uriah Hall is slept on.
The internet broke with the Chris Weidman one. I remember.
What
I
happened?
didn't. He broke his leg.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah, that was-
that was this year.
Yeah.
I feel like that was forever
You
ago.
weren't there for it. That was there.
That was a
Yeah.
stacked card. Yeah.
And of course, Valentina won.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was. Sorry, Kamaru Usman. I pretty much go hunting during all your fights. I apologize.
Yeah, that's a sign.
Except for Covington too.
Okay.
Which we're talking
You were
about.
there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was
Uriah Hall
camping
is
for
so
that
good
one.
though. Like I think he would have won that fight regardless of. Was that
Probably.
round 17 seconds into round one?
Yeah, dude. It was literally like the first leg
First
kick.
and boom.
I didn't even realize that was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman. It's the craziest part was that Anderson Silva did the exact same thing,
To
fighting Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happens to Chris Weidman.
Yeah. Circle of life on that.
Bro, the friggin-
I remember my phone was blowing up and everyone was all caps Chris Weidman. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah. And then
I
you
was
see
trying to
his,
refresh everything and I'm camping so the connection's like not
his
there.
shin, his shin became a friggin' quesadilla,
Literally.
bro. That thing got folded over.
Crazy. Valentina absolutely dominated that fight.
She's
question.
yeah, she's like Amanda Nunes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Just
is.
anytime she fights somebody, I'm just like, that poor person.
100%. She's so calculated.
She fights like a robot.
Yep.
It's like somebody's playing her on a video game.
Yeah.
There's like no fat in any of her movements.
No.
There's no extra. There's like a. That's it.
Right. And she doesn't gas out or anything.
Dude, she's been. I listened to her podcast with Joe Rogan, and she was like 4 years old when she started
That's
training.
crazy. I love
So
her
for, like-
accent too.
Yeah.
So
she,
dope.
you know she speaks like 5 different languages.
Doesn't surprise me.
She's an absolute unit of a
Champs
person.
are gonna champ.
I don't.
I can barely speak English and she's out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And she trains so hard, so many different ways, and she's just an absolute
Yeah.
savage. So hats off to Valentina. That was UFC 261.
Yeah.
So UFC 261, she fought Jessica Andrade and got her. That was the one she got her in a crucifix, right? And just freaking elbowed her.
Yeah.
So she's. Can you imagine? Both your arms are pinned down and your head is the only thing available, and she's just
I would tap even though
Yeeting
I'm not in the
elbows.
submission. I would just
yeeting some elbows.
like I'm out.
Yeah. And then
Stop it, Herb.
Toe-to-toe with her.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Well, Andrade is really good. That's the crazy
Yeah.
part. Like that fight. That fight. The odds are probably the closest Valentina has ever had odds
Yeah.
close. You know what I mean?
Minus
And they're still pretty.
455.
Yeah, but it's still pretty Valentina related. That's
Right.
that's Colton's favorite fighter.
Valentina. She's a beast.
She is a savage, and for good reason though.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's and every time she does that like dance when she wins too.
Yeah.
Like she's just
She
crazy.
hits that.
Yeah, she does. So Zhang Wei Li versus Rose Namajunas won. Oof.
Rose is my favorite.
Thug
female
Rose, son. Bro,
Yeah.
one of the best moments of 2021 in the UFC was that fight
I think that was, to be honest.
yeah.
The emotion Rose had after in the first. This was
Dude,
the first
I
live crowd, right?
still get chills.
Yeah.
I still get chills.
Yeah. It was one of those things I was watching it on my phone when I was camping. And she went. I was like,
Yeah, when she won, man, like
yeah,
and she in Joe Rogan's interviewing afterwards, and he's like, you said you're the best. She goes, I am the best. She's like crying and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was a
I'm a man.
that was a UFC moment for sure.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask because Zhang Wei Li went pretty public with this after. She thought it was a early stoppage. I don't think it was. The way that leg kick snuck in there.
She I can see both sides of it because
Okay.
that leg kick or that head kick said good night. You know, that was a
Yeah.
clean freaking.
That was a bobblehead moment.
What's that? That's like a step in round. I forget what the name of that kick is.
roundhouse?
No, was
No.
it's like a. I don't remember what that's called.
I just
but-
love how she disguised it with the two hands and then it just so
Yeah,
beautiful.
and it just like the hand like just went right over her.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, her foot went right over Jean
Yeah.
Weili's hand and just
yeah.
good night. Yeah. I don't know because it seemed like as soon as she hit the ground, it was almost like she didn't know the kick was coming and it startled her.
Right.
And it was almost like you know how when some fighters get kicked in the leg, they fall
Right.
down, but it's because they weren't ready for the kick. It
Yeah.
almost seemed like that because she got back up and was like jumping around and stuff. So I understand that, especially after watching the second
Right.
Rose versus Zhang Weili.
Right.
But hats off to Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Thug Rose, son.
Thug
She's
Rose.
a savage. Especially because like what I think is so crazy about Rose Namajunas, she's like a really pretty girl,
She
and
is.
she shaved her head
Yeah.
because she's like, nah,
She's
you guys need to
gorgeous,
take me
yeah.
seriously because she
Right.
used to fight with long hair.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because it messed Zhang Wei Li up so much. At least this is from what I could tell. It messed her up so much that in their second fight she shaved her head too.
Yeah, it was in her
Seemingly.
head. Yeah.
And then probably one of the best pictures of 2021.
I think it is.
It's got to be.
The water, the
Sweat all over the
Jorge
Yeah.
Masvidal's eyes were both closed.
Just
Jorge Masvidal said, "Snap time."
yeah. And that was a big moment for Usman too, because like before the Burns, before the Masvidal, everyone's like, "Oh, he's boring. He
Didn't-
just steps on feet. He's a
didn't-
decision guy."
Didn't they fight once before?
Yeah.
The-
I think Usman grinded that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Decision. So Masvidal's whole thing coming in is like, he's not gonna.
did they fight before that?
I think they did.
Yeah, I think so. I think so,
Yeah.
but I think their first fight was much closer,
Right.
and in this fight, you really see that because I think it's like there's a clear difference between Kamaru Usman before he started training
Right.
with the trainer he has
Yeah.
now, Trevor Whitman.
Yeah, women.
Yeah, and then
He's leveled up.
Yeah,
To
he went
get
Super
better as
Saiyan
a
3.
champion it doesn't make sense.
It
It's
just
scary
shows you
for
how
all
good he is.
all the welterweights.
Dude, that dude's insane. Kamaru Usman, I don't know who's going to take anything from him. I don't know who's
He's
going to do it.
intense, man.
Colby Covington's probably the only one who's going to get close enough to do it. But that Jorge Masvidal, Kamaru Usman, one of the picture perfect knockouts of the year. So,
And Masvidal
and then
hasn't
same with
fought
Rose.
since then, has he? I don't
I
think
don't think
he
so.
has.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. Then next you have Reyes versus
Yep.
Prohaska. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Prohaska.
Something
First
like
of
that.
all, what do you think about Prohaska?
He's a stud. I have him mentioned a lot on this, a couple times. I think he is a contender for sure at light heavyweight. Can I go ahead and give one of my rewards? Is that okay?
This is Dylan.
Okay.
This is what.
Sweet.
this
Okay.
is- what is
KO
it?
of the year. No, not KO.
Really?
This was my honorable mention for KO of the year.
Okay. All right.
This
that's
is
fair.
my second placer.
Bro, to get a spinning elbow.
It was so clean.
it
Literally
was-
the end point.
R.I.P. Dominic Reyes.
100%.
I love when we watched him fight John Jones. Did you watch that fight? John
No.
Jones versus Dominic Reyes. I
don't
thought
think so.
Dominic Reyes won that fight.
Gotcha. I've read that a lot.
I know
I
that-
can watch that.
I know that John Jones pulled away. The rounds that John Jones won were 4 and 5 for sure. And first and second, Dominic Reyes won, and then third round it could have been either person.
Okay.
But it was a very close fight, and I was like, okay, if Dominic Reyes did that to John Jones, that means I was fairly certain he was going to be the next champ.
Yeah.
And then Jan Blachowicz said, "Here's my right hand, son."
Yeah, for sure.
and then to see what Yuri Prohaska did. Apparently, Yuri Prohaska's story is that I guess the UFC offered him a contract once before, and
Yeah.
he turned it down
Okay.
because he said, "I'm not ready yet." He didn't feel like he was ready yet. And then when he finally decided he was ready, he comes in and he's freaking
Yeah.
taking that division by storm, son.
Yeah. One of the awards I had for him, he's one of the contenders to watch because he's 12-0. He's 2-0 in the UFC. And he's just dominated anything we have on him.
Yeah,
Any
and
tape.
I think you have to be that good to have that haircut
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
because he's got
I
that
couldn't
like
pull it off now.
he's got that like dildo haircut.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's the craziest part is it's like every dude when they start to bald,
Yeah.
it's like their hairline starts to go back,
Yeah.
and then they lose like the patch around the
Uh-huh.
back of their head, and that is the only hair he grows. He shaves the rest of it.
Right.
He only grows the part of what would be the bald spot
Uh-huh.
on a back of a dude, and he grows that, and he has it like a freaking ponytail.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just do it in a ponytail; he does it in what looks like a boner because he just puts like a wrap around it.
Uh-huh.
It's so weird.
It is. I definitely think he could be champ by the end of the year.
It's hard to say. I don't know what his ground game's like. I haven't watched him fight enough.
Yeah.
Honest. But I mean, from what I understand, that fight was a really good fight up
Yeah.
into when Dominic Reyes didn't see that elbow coming.
Did you see how his face like metamorphically just like changed? There was
Yeah.
some before and afters.
He hit the ground hard, man. Dominic Reyes is a big guy.
Yeah.
And he hit the ground hard. He like freaking dove in
It
the
really
ground.
tells you what the UFC thinks about Jiri though. For a second fight to be Dominic Reyes in a main event, like they really, really want him to be a thing.
Yeah.
And with light
Well,
heavyweight,
they probably wanted him to be a thing when they first offered it to
Right.
him. And he's just
yeah,
he fights so weird, from what I
yeah,
understand.
it's a really different fight style. And with
Yeah.
light heavyweight with Glover, I feel like since he's older, it was more of a Cinderella story. I feel like he could definitely lose it by the end of 2022.
Glover?
Yeah,
Yeah. His ground game's so good though.
he's so likable.
Oh.
But I'm just picturing him and Jiri in there, and I'm just like,
That was a sad one to watch. Jan Blachowicz had it all
Right.
taken away.
yep.
All right, next event. Boy,
Oh man,
hype train.
this was a great fight.
So, Colton will tell you,
Okay,
I love Charles Oliveira.
he's probably your favorite, right?
Love isn't- I think it's
He's top 3.
Okay.
Top 3 favorite. I wouldn't say he's just so fun to watch fight to
Yeah.
me. Like Colton loves watching Valentina fight,
Yeah.
and I like watching Valentina fight too. But I get so hyped over Charles Oliveira
Okay.
because he can do it. Like he can take the fight from any way.
Okay.
You want to go on the ground? I got you.
Yeah.
You want to go into clinch? I got you. You want to
He's
stand
really
up? I
versatile.
got you. Yeah.
he's got an answer for everything.
Yeah. And what catches me about him is he's like very small.
Mm-hmm.
He's a tall, linky guy, and he fights at the most stacked division ever.
Right.
But he gets
Absolutely loaded.
W's from like the weirdest places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're trying to take me down? I got you in a guillotine.
Right.
The most submissions of all time.
Yeah.
in
I think
UFC.
my favorite thing about him is He almost plays with everyone in round one. Like, he lost round one to Chandler, almost got
He's
finished.
not a round one fighter.
He lost round one to Poirier, almost got finished. And then round two, he just, everything in his corner, they just self-reflect, and they handle business.
Yep. He's... I wish he spoke English. I want to know what's going on in his brain.
Know.
He's working
I
on
always
it, I believe.
I love the glasses look on him, too. He's always
Yeah.
swagged out with
They
those.
always call him like Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And then he goes in there.
He really pulls those off. He's hitting that thing. This was a boring fight card other than the main event. It was if you like decision.
What? Did you not watch Tony Ferguson?
That was a good
Beneil
one.
Dariush?
I like finishes, though.
That's understand. There was almost a finish in that fight.
There was almost a couple. to
Tony
be fair.
Ferguson is made out of granite.
Yeah.
He is just so freaking
He is.
impossible to destroy.
Yeah.
He doesn't tap for anything, man.
Right.
And that is to his demise, too, because, man, he should probably tap out occasionally.
Beneil's easy to root for, too.
Yeah.
He's likable.
Yeah, he got... Who knocked him out? Somebody knocked Beneil Dariush out. I don't remember.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. It was like a freak knockout, too.
He's definitely a decision grinder, though.
Yeah. Maybe go to his Wikipedia. It's probably the best place to see all that kind of stuff, because this is just going to give you his stats.
Right here.
Shows that he won.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Ferguson was his last fight.
There was somebody who like KO'd him really bad.
Okay.
Hernandez.
2018.
Yeah, round 1, 1750.
Huh.
Come on, Colton, you don't understand?
Come on, UFC.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
No, Edson Barboza. That's who it was. That's the one I'm thinking about. I think Edson got a flying knee or something like that. It's Edson Barboza versus Beneil Dariush.
Yeah, I missed that one back then.
Beneil Dariush is a freaking savage, though. He's got pretty good stand-up game, but
Yeah.
his ground game is
It's a whole
next
different
world.
level.
So what I find so crazy about Tony Ferguson is like everyone wanted to see Khabib versus Ferguson,
Right.
but knowing what I know now and what I believe most people know now is like I don't think Tony versus Khabib would have been the fight. I think
Right.
it's now like it would have been Charles Oliveira or Beneil Dariush
Right.
versus Khabib would have been really good
Yeah,
because
that would've been a good one.
because to see Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush do what they did to Tony Ferguson
Right.
when he was like training.
Yeah.
training-
I would love to see
yeah.
Oliveira versus Khabib. That would be... That'd be a good one.
He's built for jiu-jitsu, man. Oliveira is just so
Yeah.
good with his jiu-jitsu.
I don't know who I would have for that.
He's like
Yeah.
he doesn't take his time to get to a submission. He's just like, oh, I've got you back.
Yeah.
Oh, give me that
That
neck.
quick, man.
Give me that neck.
Yep.
And then, yeah. So Beneil Dariush got Tony Ferguson on this card. He got him in some kind of like knee lock or something like that. And you could hear, because that was one of the ones, I think.
I remember
this
those.
one was without a crowd. It was at the was it
Apex?
UFC Apex maybe?
Yeah, I believe so.
Toyota Center? Okay. But I just remember you could hear
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson's knee pop. And you just see him wince, and then he just takes his other leg and kicks Beneil's hands off, and then he's just limping the rest of the fight.
Crazy.
Tony Ferguson's just too tough, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Just too tough.
What do
But
you guys think about the Apex events, like the no fans? I kind of like it.
it depends on the event.
Like pay-per-view, I love the fans.
Yes.
But like a non-one, I kind of like
And
you
it-
get to hear the coaches' corner.
It depends on the pay-per-view, too, because
Right.
when Jan versus... what was the one we got for free? It was Jan versus Taxera.
Yeah,
Glover. Yeah, that one was the free one, and I don't believe we had fans for that one.
I don't think so.
I think that was the move for that one
Right.
because I liked that one. But
Yeah.
when you get like people who have huge followings,
Right.
like Michael Chandler
Yeah.
and Charles Oliveira,
Right.
like, that was
I'm
so,
cool with either.
dude. Oliveira versus Chandler, comeback of the year, comeback
I
of the year,
agree.
right there. Because boy,
Chandler
they could have
was about to-
stopped it in that first round when Charles Oliveira hit the ground. I think the only reason they didn't is because he was swinging his head
Yeah.
back and forth. I watched it today, and like when that happened, like you see him, he's basically rubbing his face on the
Yeah.
ground because he can't.
just to show like I'm alive.
Yeah, basically, and then he just
Yeah.
grabs Chandler's leg. I mean, that one was so close. That really showed you that Oliveira.
I really
not a
thought
first-time
Chandler was
fighter.
gonna be champion that night.
He got Chandler's back. I was real nervous about that one.
Yeah.
I said if that fight, if it goes to the decision, I think Oliveira wins. If it goes later in the fight, I think he gets a submission. But if it stops in the first 2 rounds, I think it's because Chandler wins, and via TKO or knockout.
Right. It's interesting.
And then
now 'cause-
for him to win
Right.
second round, like
Yeah.
17 seconds into
you got the
second
round right.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
the wrong person in the wrong way.
Right.
I did not anticipate Oliveira winning via knockout.
Right.
I did not.
Most people didn't. It was normally
The craziest part is like when you look at Oliveira, you're like, okay, he's not. He's a linky guy.
Yeah.
And then you look at Chandler, and Chandler's built like a shit brick
He
house.
is.
Like he is freaking
Yeah.
stacked.
Yeah.
And or a brick shit house. Did I say that backwards? Probably whatever.
we got it.
And so Chandler's just jacked.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, like clearly Oliveira's not gonna. And then Oliveira knocked him out with his like lead left hand, which is like
Right.
like if you've ever fought before, your front hand is normally the ones you have the least amount of
Right.
power on.
Yeah.
And he knocked out Michael Chandler with it.
I think too in self-reflection, like more praise to Oliveira because he knocks out Chandler round 2. Justin Gaethje doesn't finish Chandler later on in the year. Like, what does that tell you about Oliveira?
He landed that picture perfect left hand, and
Right.
I think that Chandler just had Chandler. I think Chandler was he recognized how good he did in round 1 because Oliveira had a body triangle on Michael Chandler,
Yeah.
which is where your legs are wrapped around them, and had Chandler's back, which is the scariest place to be.
Right.
And Chandler got out of it, and then not only that, almost knocked him out.
Yeah.
At the end of that fight or the end of the first round.
Yeah, in the first.
Yeah, and then going into the next round, I think Chandler's confidence was too high,
Yeah.
and he went in and took too big of a risk.
Yeah.
And
He just allowed
Oliveira said, "Okay, here, I'm
Yeah.
comfortable now. Let's go."
Yeah.
That was a picture perfect left hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably like no joke. I'm pretty sure I said that set as my comeback of the year.
It really
because
was.
I did not. After that first round, I was a little nervous.
For
I was
sure.
a little
As you
nervous.
should.
But I love both those fighters. I love both those fighters.
I feel bad that Chandler's on a 2-fight losing streak now. But
he took the L, but
They're big
They were
names.
and they were good fights.
yeah. You can't be mad about losing to the champ and Justin Gaethje.
Right. And the way he lost to the champ too was in the biggest comeback of the year.
For sure.
I think he went a little crazy in the Gaethje fight and just became an entertainer.
It'll be interesting to see what his next fight is for sure.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Adesanya versus Vettori. Do we even have to talk about that one? I mean, Vettori is just so boring to watch, and Adesanya is just so smart. But what we do need to talk about.
See, the Brandon Moreno win was my moment of the year.
Oh, hands down. It's
Him
between
and Rose.
it's between him and Rose.
100%.
Exactly. So So in 2020, Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno fought for the first time.
Right.
And everyone thought Davison Figueiredo was going to starch Brandon
Right.
Moreno because no one even really knew who Brandon Moreno was.
Yeah.
And then for Brandon Moreno, that was a good ass fight. Probably one of the best fights
That was last year, right?
I've ever seen. Yeah, well, the year before last.
Oh, yeah,
we're 2022. Come on, Dylan.
My
Keep
bad.
up, bro. Keep up.
My bad.
Um,
That was so last year.
yeah. How dare you? We're 10 hours into this year. Okay, get with the program.
My bad.
So Davis and Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno, when they fought the first time, that was so close. It was
That
a
was
majority draw, which
yeah.
you never see that.
Never. Especially in a title fight like
Yeah.
that, you know.
And then they come back, and you're expecting to see something like that again. And I really didn't know who to pick.
No.
I said after
I didn't
seeing
bet on
Brandon
that one.
Moreno in the first
Yeah.
one, I don't know who to pick.
I didn't bet on it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit because Figueiredo is so big for fighting at that weight
Yeah.
class. He looks like death
Yeah.
at every weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes away your power.
Yeah.
And it makes you it makes you easier to get knocked out.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
then
think
Brandon
I leaned
Moreno.
Figueiredo coming in because the only tape I had on Figueiredo from like when I first started watching UFC was whenever he fought Joseph Benavidez, Megan O'Leary's husband, which I don't think Benavidez even in the UFC anymore, but Figueiredo just absolutely dominated him.
But then in Brandon Moreno, he took that fight.
Yeah.
He took that fight. He said, "This is me, bro. I got this."
I just love the whole Mexican pride thing he's got.
Yeah,
He's a good Instagram follow too.
He reminds me of some of my my in-laws.
Okay.
And
Sweet.
and so like it was like Rose won when she won against Zhang Wei with
Yeah.
that head kick. Like you get a little teary eyed,
Uh-huh.
you get like happy, and like you get goosebumps.
Yeah.
But man, that night,
Uh-huh.
it
You
was
just
like
felt
seeing
the
a
submission
shooting.
coming the whole time when they got to where it was.
And then
He didn't even realize it happened.
No.
because in the first, because that was in round 3, the first 2 rounds, Brandon Moreno was whipping Davison
Yeah.
Figueiredo's ass
Yeah.
like bad.
As a near 2-1 favorite too, plus
Yeah,
195.
yeah. And then Brandon Moreno just gets him in that rear naked choke
Yeah.
and chokes out Davison Figueiredo, who's just a savage.
Have they announced a rematch for this one yet?
That's the only fight I want to see in that weight division.
I agree.
Or they fight again. I imagine Brandon Moreno would win again.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Well, I don't know. It's one of those things too. Once you become champion, it's weird because once you become champion, like, is he gonna be taking it as seriously,
Right.
or
Is
was
he
that
due
like
for
get
regression
champion and
all that stuff? Yeah.
yeah? So it'd be hard to say, but I think he's a savage. Okay. So I think he would win again. Yeah. But Brandon Moreno versus Figgy 3 would be good. But if Brandon Moreno wins again, I'd like to see Henry Cejudo come back.
Okay.
Fight Moreno because I know he's still an absolute savage.
Yeah.
That would be a badass fight.
Another good Instagram follow. That dude's hilarious.
Henry Cejudo?
Yeah.
Triple C?
Triple C.
He was his king of cringe. Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. Did you watch that?
Yep. It was a snoozer.
What? What was it? Was that? No, that was a great fight. It was
Nate
Leon
Diaz showed up the last 2 minutes of the 5 rounds.
and that made the entire fight. Leon Edwards was
I just wish he would have had that to start with. There would have been so much build up.
Someone said, I think it was Joe Rogan said that Nate Diaz, if there was no limit how long the fight goes, if it was go until the ref stops it, Nate Diaz would win every time.
100%.
Every time he'd win.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah. He's built different, son.
He really is.
He's just built different.
Like Edwards literally dominated the first 4 rounds, and then
4.5, bro.
Yeah.
Count the first.
The last couple minutes of round 5.
Nate Diaz.
Okay, let's fight now.
Not even. I think Nate Diaz is he'd been throwing that punch the whole time, and he just happened to land at that time, and then Leon Edwards, you see him just get wobbly as hell.
Right.
Yeah. Fantastic fight.
My friend told me that Nate Diaz is probably undefeated in street fights since there's no time limit in street fights. Yeah. Like, he's never lost those in the alley.
Yeah, he's. I can't wait to see who he fights next.
Yeah,
I'm always tuning in for a Nate Diaz fight. Never a Nick Diaz fight.
I have one
anymore.
written down for one I want to see later on when we get to that.
Yeah. Nate Diaz, great to watch.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz, not as exciting.
Agree.
Yeah, it was like sad. It was like watching your grandpa fight for money.
Yeah,
it was just like, come on.
Yeah,
man.
It was sad. This one was interesting too because right under Leon Edwards was Bilal Muhammad, and Edwards and Muhammad, they had the whole eye poke thing that happened earlier on.
But that was Leon versus
It's
Bilal.
weird to see them both in the main event not fighting each other. I want to see them run it back.
Yeah, I got some ideas we'll talk about.
Okay.
So then we already talked about Adesanya versus Vettori.
Yeah, it was a snooze.
Yeah,
levels
super
to this.
boring. Yeah, what was that? What else was on that fight? Or that was the one we just did, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a snooze. Vettori, I don't know how you think you won that fight, bro. Clearly, Adesanya pieced you up.
Yeah.
Adesanya is just so smart.
He is.
He's so smart, and he knows his distance, and he just needs to get better wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Then you have Gain versus Volkov. I don't even know how that one ended. Honest with you.
Cyril probably by decision.
Well, yeah, we all know he won. Yeah, he's undefeated.
Cyril by decision.
Yeah, probably. It probably was.
He just grinds him out.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unanimous.
decision. Volkov's good, but it's just
That was interesting. He was a small favorite too.
yeah, and then
I like Tanner Bozer.
could not continue. He break something probably. Daniel Pineda.
I don't remember that one.
All right, well, so we'll get past that one real quick.
Yeah, that was a quick one.
Poirier versus McGregor 3.
Oh man,
Most disappointing thing of all time. most disappointing fight of the year. Because it was turning out to be. I mean, the second Conor versus
right.
Conor versus Dustin was a great fight.
Yeah,
and then
I wish we would have got more.
Yeah,
I mean, I bet on Poirier, so I was cool, but
that was at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they were heading into
and
round
Conor
2,
was
right?
just a fucking ass.
He was
leading up to this fight.
Yeah.
Like
even after he lost, he was so bitter.
He's like, your wife sent me DMs.
Yeah,
and Dustin's just like, bro,
very
whatever.
disrespectful.
Yeah, but it was all because the reason they fought the first time in January 23rd was because Dustin wanted to raise money for his foundation. And then Conor's team apparently ghosted him after that, and then he just announced it. He's like, "Hey, these guys aren't doing what they said they would do." And then Conor just got called on his shit and freaked the fuck out.
Right.
And then he also said that he figured the reason he lost is because he was nice Conor in the first one, and I think he wanted to be mean Conor in the second one so he could win. But it was a good first round.
It was
a good first round. I think Dustin was going to win that fight.
I agree.
So it's hard to say for sure because Connor's got that freaking kiss of death in that left hand, son.
I do think they should be done fighting each other, though. I think the trilogy should just. Yeah.
I think Dustin should do it one more time, last fight, and then they both should retire.
Okay.
I don't think Connor's got him. I would have loved to have seen the Connor before Floyd Mayweather fight the Dustin of now.
That would have been crazy. Yeah, I want to see who McGregor gets next because he only fought twice this year, both Poirier losses. So it's like, is it because he's going against Poirier or is he done?
I think I got some stuff for you later about what I think Connor should do. Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson.
That was a good bounce back for Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, but it's upsetting because I love Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, I hate when Wonderboy loses.
Yeah, he's so good. But Gilbert Burns did what Vettori did to Holland. He just like laid on top of him. Yeah. Tai Tuivasa.
This is when he really became a fan favorite.
He pulled away. He pulled away. Tai Tuivasa. I always thought he was like interesting because like he has those really crazy like tattoos that like wrap around him and stuff on like his midsection below.
Right.
And then he fought Greg Hardy, and I definitely thought Greg Hardy was going to win that fight because Greg Hardy's like jacked out of his mind. And then Tai Tuivasa
Greg Hardy as a person, so I was rooting for him.
Yeah,
he had the whole beating women allegations thing.
Yeah. Wasn't he a football player?
Yeah, he used to be a defensive end.
Yeah. Yeah, not
Carolina
a huge fan.
Panthers.
And then Tai Tuivasa is just a fucking savage.
Someone like Tai coming in, always in a good mood and knocks that dude out.
Yeah,
and
Tai
Tuivasa. The shoeies and
there it is. Did you watch that one? Sean
so bad
O'Malley versus Chris.
That poor dude's face.
Dude, that night I followed Chris Montino. I followed him before the fight happened.
On Instagram.
I followed him on Instagram before the fight happened. He had like 4,000 followers.
Yep.
Boy, go refresh that thing. He had 180,000 followers because of that fight.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves watching Sean O'Malley fight.
Yeah.
And he was mad they stopped it. I'm like, bruh, your face
it
looked
was
like
justifiable.
ground beef. Your face looked like raw ground beef. That was so good.
He was one of the biggest favorites, or biggest underdogs, of the year.
Imagine if he won, though. Imagine if he landed like an overhand right. That'd have been crazy.
O'Malley would have been, his whole stock would have been.
Yeah.
I really want to see who he fights next, Matino.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm glad he's taking time off because
he gained a huge following that night. I think he's probably a bigger draw now than a lot of people are.
100%.
Yeah, he's training the next day.
That's ridiculous.
Savage.
Yeah.
Savage. He like that night, I think he stayed up and like watched fights. Like boy looked like he needed to go get facial reconstruction surgery.
Like, my face hurt for him.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
it could have been over in round one.
Herb,
dude was getting clocked. O'Malley striking. It's so accurate.
Oh yeah, deadly precision and speed. Mm-hmm. So scroll up, Colton. We got Tai Tuivasa, Gilbert Burns, Dustin Poirier. Yeah, that was super upsetting to watch Dustin Connor.
Yeah.
And then Connor to just like go away, just being a dick.
Right.
I don't know. I don't like when Connor's like that, but I think he does that for.
It's his persona.
Yeah. I don't think he's actually that way. It's like when Khabib was on top of him, smashing him. Like, it's just business.
I like Covington with his personality.
Yeah, which I mean, it's hard to blame him. You want to make money
for sure.
All right, then we got Makhachev versus Moises, whatever.
Makhachev
is just so good, man. I mean, he's so good.
There's not much to say. He's just so everything about him.
You think he becomes champ?
I think he could be a future champ for sure. He's one of my contenders to watch too.
Yeah, Islam Makhachev. He's right up there.
He's right on a 9-fight winning streak right now.
Yeah,
you gotta think how hard that is. That's 3-4 years of just winning.
This goes back to whenever recently when Oliveira and Poirier fought.
Yeah,
and you picked Poirier, and I said I'm pretty sure Oliveira's gonna win.
Right.
I tend to lean towards the person who's better on the ground because if shit gets squirrely, you can go to the ground.
Which that's a great point.
You control where the fight happens if you're a great wrestler with great ground game. That's what happened with. And what I'm getting at though is that Islam is if shit gets squirrely standing up, he said, "Okay, I'm going to take you where I want to go."
Right. And he's done that to anyone he's went against.
But that's what Khabib did.
Yeah.
It's
and honestly, Islam seems like he's doing it better.
But look at Holland, look at Kevin Holland, look at Wonderboy, like the people whose ground games aren't the best. Like they don't become champion because you don't like.
You really got to be good everywhere.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why I think that's part of the reason I like Oliveira so much is he's good at every place.
Yeah.
So,
do you feel like Islam has a higher ceiling than Khabib? Because he gets to be trained by Khabib?
It's crazy. Like when he fought Dan Hooker,
Yeah.
and Khabib's right there by the
Yeah.
side of the
it's
cage.
just like, that's unfair.
I don't know if someone did it as a joke, but they like put like a PlayStation
I saw
controller
that.
in Khabib's.
Yeah.
He's like literally what it's like when
you think
he
about it, like
fights.
Khabib went undefeated. Had his dad trained him, obviously, but like,
Islam's got a loss though, I believe.
yeah, he's 12-1.
Yeah.
9-fight win streak. But I'm just saying, like, for Khabib to be able to take him under his wing, never lost his career.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
unfair.
Islam's stand up is better. I believe his submissions are better. He doesn't have as good of smashing like Khabib
Right.
does, but
Right.
I don't know, man. I'd love to see Islam become champ,
Right.
reign over the lightweight division for a little bit, and then Khabib goes, I guess I can come back. But then again, it's never. I don't
Yeah.
think Khabib's coming back.
He's got his whole Eagles promotion now.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back, and it's hard to blame him. Now that fight, Sanhagen versus Dillashaw. Moving on, that was a freaking
That
banger.
was a good one.
Who do you think won?
I'm biased. I bet on Dillashaw, so I thought he had 3 rounds. Sanhagen had 2.
I just don't like TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll tell you this: if Sanhagen would have won via split decision, I wouldn't have been mad because either way, it felt like a 3-2 to someone.
Very close fight. Very close fight. Yeah, I just don't like that Dillashaw knowingly cheated.
Right.
Like I get it if it's an accident.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking a supplement and it's
Right.
laced with another supplement.
Yeah, you definitely lose respect after that.
Yep. And then
He was a solid underdog too.
somebody to watch for is this next one, Hall versus Strickland.
Okay.
That Strickland dude, Sean
Dude,
Strickland.
he's
Is it Sean Strickland?
yeah.
Sounds right.
I don't know if you
Savage.
guys use Twitter, but he is wild on Twitter.
He's a crazy man. He literally wants to fight to the death.
death threats.
Legitimately.
Yeah, he'll just be threatening to kill people casually. Just
Yeah. Well, he's like the better English version of
Yeah.
what's his name? Crazy Khamzat Chimaev.
Mm.
He's like the white version.
he really
Like
is.
Nuts.
Yeah.
He's dark.
Uriah Hall is really good, but Sean Strickland's. I mean, he feels like it just seems like he's built different.
His striking is really good too.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like you can tell that he isn't just saying he wants to die whenever he's fighting.
Yeah,
Like, you can
he's
tell
about it.
he's about
Yeah.
that. Like if he dies in the octagon, he'd be happy.
I feel like he avenged him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He could definitely have my lunch money. I wouldn't even
Yeah,
stress it.
if I went in the octagon with him, I'd at least want a gun.
Right.
Yeah,
A couple.
yeah, a gun, a knife, grenade,
Yeah.
whatever.
He would just run through it.
Yeah, probably. He's like that dude that was on bath salts that ate that homeless person's face. He's like the fighter version of that.
I can see it.
Then we got Lewis versus Gane.
Zero gone, man.
I mean, so I remember talking about that fight ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I remember saying like Cyril Gane's great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But how can you? That's what I'm saying.
I get
How
it.
can you bet against
This
Lewis?
was the only person I've won money on against Derek Lewis. So
I can't believe you bet against him.
I
You're
know.
crazy. You're crazy.
after the Dacus one in December, I really can't ever again. But
Yeah. And then that fight, Pedro Munoz
Yeah.
against Jose Aldo.
uh-huh.
Bro,
That was a good one.
Jose Aldo's just,
He is.
he's not getting old.
No.
Seems like he punches so hard for how small he
Yeah.
is.
And his leg
Yeah.
kicks.
Oh, dude, he is so good. I love watching Jose Aldo fight.
Right.
I love watching him fight.
I
mean,
felt
it's-
bad for him during that Peter Yan fight from 2020. Sorry.
So for the first 2020,
The
not the second
interim.
2020.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
But it's cool to see him back and winning now because he took a lot of damage in that one.
That was a good fight, from what I remember.
Right.
And then Vicente Luque versus Michael Chesnia. I like Vicente Luque a lot.
Yeah.
So
So he got
Angela,
a submission on Chiesa and Woodley in 2021.
yeah, and then you see Angela Hill. I like Angela Hill a lot, but
She's good for the sport. It just seems like she always loses via decision.
yeah, she's a fun person.
Yeah.
And then what I got next? That was Lewis versus Gane. That was 265.
Yep.
Bro, Volkanovski versus Ortega. That was a freaking event.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my award for fight of the year.
That was yours?
I don't think it's close. IMO.
It was a good fight.
Let's talk about it, Dylan. Let's talk about it. Let's look at this card first. So,
Volkanovski landed 200.
I never watched him fight before this.
Really?
Never. Go ahead. 200 what?
Volkanovski landed 214 strikes against Ortega. Ortega almost submitted this dude 3 different times.
So let's start at the beginning. Go down. Jessica Andrade. You know,
The Andrade was a good bounce back after Valentina.
I feel like the women's divisions, like it's like the top 2 or 3 in each division that are really, really good, and
Right.
then everybody below them, it
Yeah,
just
there's
doesn't seem
definitely
fair. Yeah.
We do have a prospect I'll mention later on. I
Um,
like for the women's division.
Jorinzo Rosenstruck
Yep.
versus Curtis Blades. Absolute most boring fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really like Curtis Blades though because he's like the one heavyweight that does grappling.
Yeah.
And it's just a different look for
Yeah.
the division, so I
Yeah.
always like rooting for him.
I don't like Rosenstruck that much because he always is like, he doesn't throw caution to the wind, which I guess is an okay thing, but like he
Right.
always at the end of every fight that he loses, he's like, well, I should have taken some more chances. Like, well, then take more fucking chances,
Right,
bro.
that's true. That's a good point.
Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz.
Seeing Nick Diaz just give up, that was a bad look for the sport.
Yeah, that was really sad. That was really sad. Tell
Easy
me
money
you
for
need
Robbie,
money
though.
without telling me you
Right,
need money.
100%.
That was sad. And Dana White knew it. Everybody knew it.
Yeah,
Lauren Murphy versus Valentina. I mean, we all knew how that was going to go.
yeah. Minus 1250.
I
Absolutely.
mean, Lauren
insane.
Murphy's really good.
Yeah,
And I've been watching her fight for a while.
Right.
She's I mean, as a person, she's just a
Yeah.
savage, But
Yep.
there's levels, and Valentina's on a
100%.
whole different building.
Yep.
So then you had Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski.
Fight of the year.
That's crazy.
That was such a good fight, bro. That second round,
The amount of submissions he got out of it.
Yeah.
how did he must have another jugular
Yeah.
that was
I
keeping
was so
blood
impressed
flow.
by both of them.
Ridiculous.
It was
Volkanovski
so
to
good.
escape 3 incredibly tight submissions.
I was just looking at Brian Ortega's little picture right there.
Yeah.
That's like such like a sad puppy dog face. I
Yeah.
don't know why he's making that. He looks weird.
Well, he realized he was going to get 214 hits, and I wouldn't be happy either.
That was
Imagine
so
getting hit 214 times.
Remember when they met? It was like at the end of the second round when Brian Ortega had gotten Alexander Volkanovski. I think it was
Yeah.
second or third round. I think it was second. They got at the end of the round. Alexander Volkanovski not only got out of 2 great submissions by a guy who's known for those
Right.
submissions,
Those
but then
exact
beat
ones.
the piss out of him on the ground.
Yeah.
And Volkanovski got
Yeah.
Volkanovski was pissed. He's like, "You trying to choke me out?" Like,
Yeah. I love his. That was a good
You fu-
accent.
you-
You killed that.
did I have an accent? I wasn't trying to.
I thought you were doing Volkanovski.
I was trying. I guess I was trying to. I wasn't
Alright,
really paying
well done.
attention. I kind of heard it too, though.
All right.
But Volkanovski, like, you follow him on Instagram.
no. not
Great
Instagram.
follow.
Is he?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
like cooking recipes,
Oh, okay. Good to know.
boys loves to cook.
Good to know.
His recipes sound pretty good.
I'm gonna be honest. Coming into this fight, I wanted Volkanovski to lose, but I ended up betting him. But
Why'd you want him to lose?
because he robbed Max Holloway twice. Max Holloway won both.
Oh,
of those
yeah,
fights
that's right,
versus
yeah.
him. I
Yeah.
love Max Holloway,
You love Max Holloway like
do.
I like Charles Oliveira.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and like he loves Valentina.
and I thought Max Holloway won both fights against Volkanovski.
They were close.
They were.
They need to run that back.
Yes,
All right, that fight of the year.
I agree.
Gotta
That's
be.
my fight of the year for sure.
Yeah. Next event I got is Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira,
Okay,
which
it was a good
I-
Cinderella story.
Well, Costa Vittori is.
Yeah, Costa versus Vittori.
I can't.
I want to see Costa. He's got the wrong people around him.
He does.
I feel because how he walks and talks and acts, it's like, dude, like,
He does no wrong.
yeah. He can't lose in
Right.
his mind.
Yeah.
And I'm not a
Terrible.
huge fan anymore. I was versus whenever him and Adesanya were gonna fight. I was like,
Yeah.
this is going to be a
Right.
banger. And then
He hasn't been the same since.
no. All right, so then you got so that dude at the bottom, the Magomed
Yeah.
Ankalaev.
He's nice.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
He's already good, obviously,
Yeah.
but he's
someone to watch out for.
yeah, for sure,
I agree.
for sure. He's probably my guy that
Okay.
you were talking about. Was it Contender?
Contenders to watch.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Li Jingling versus is that how you pronounce that? That's such a weird name.
Jing Liang.
Yeah.
Jing
I
Liang.
think Colin got it.
Jingling.
Kamzat Chimaev. He's obviously
he's not had competition yet.
no.
We've not seen him have somebody to compete against yet.
I do think he's someone to watch though. 10-0, 4-0 in the
Kamzat?
UFC.
Oh, we're not. It's not even.
Yeah, he's.
Find me somebody who would argue
Right.
against that. I think he's for sure somebody to watch.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely a contender for
I think
sure.
he's
probably the easiest answer for contender.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Easiest. Him and Sean.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley.
hmm
Yeah. But yeah, I want to see. He's gonna be moving up quick.
Yep.
I don't understand how
He's
you
made
be
examples
that
out of
good.
everyone.
I don't understand how you be that good that
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah, just 10 fights under his belt.
Then Volkov versus
Marcin Tybura.
yeah. Volkov's just so good.
He is.
Islam
I do
versus
like
Dan
Tybura,
Hooker.
though.
That was the fight.
Islam is so good.
So
Which,
fast.
Again, Dan Hooker was stuck right during the whole COVID thing. Wasn't he stuck over for a while?
Wouldn't
and you
surprise
just feel
me.
bad for him. And
Yeah,
then
but
Islam
I
comes
think-
out and submits him round one. Like you were saying with Chandler.
I think
round one.
I think he turned around and fought somebody else after this one, didn't he? I think. Dan Hooker,
I think Hooker filled in for this one in particular.
Yes. Okay.
he was
Maybe
stuck.
this was the fill-in because after he fought
Yeah.
somebody else.
But again, to get finished both times in round one after being stuck.
oh, so quick too.
Pour one out
Ugh.
for that guy.
Yeah, Islam Makhachev, savage, so quick, so quick. He posed his will
Yeah.
on Dan Hooker so fast. Now that one was that's a contender for fight of the year right there. Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Because Corey Sandhagen was a fill-in for Aljamain because Aljamain
Yeah.
got back from neck surgery,
Yeah.
and he said that his gas tank is just not what it once was. And
Yeah.
he's just still recovering from it. Peter Yan, he's just so good, and he really showed it in that fight.
He's really the best bantamweight right now. Like
No doubt, he's still the champ. He's the uncrowned champ right
Yeah.
now. Well,
That was
I
the
guess he's interim.
Yeah, that was the interim.
which is a weird thing
It
too.
is.
But
that one's really confusing.
so everyone knows he's the real champ.
100%.
Everyone I don't know how I would respond if I was Aljamain.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I don't like that they gave him the belt.
I agree. I bet on Aljamain. I was like, Peter Yan should be the one winning right now. Like,
Yeah.
Jan's gonna destroy him.
Corey Sandhagen's so good though.
He
I
is.
want to see him versus Aljamain again.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Corey's he's still got a long career ahead of him. He's very good.
Yeah, for sure.
He needs to go outside and get some vitamin D though. That boy is white.
He is.
Boy is starch
He
white.
needs to come visit some Florida real quick.
He's from Colorado, I believe.
Yeah, that'll
Which
do
makes
it.
sense, which is cold as shit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see that Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. I did not see it going the way that it went.
No, not at
Because
all.
I'm a big Jan Blachowicz
Yeah,
fan.
minus 300 favorite to
Yeah.
get submitted round two.
Yeah.
That was a big Cinderella underdog moment of 2021.
Yeah. People were crying, man.
Yeah. Real quick, the Islam one, it just shows how good he is because who's going to be a minus 650 favorite against Dan Hooker?
Yeah.
Like, no one should be.
Maybe
Like, Dan
Khabib.
Hooker's
Maybe
an
Khabib.
absolute- right.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker's an absolute unit.
Yeah. You can never count Dan Hooker out,
No.
especially looking at his resume and what he's
Right.
done. And then
Yeah.
Islam's just everybody that watched Khabib fight knows.
Right.
They just know that
Yeah.
Islam is Khabib 2.0.
Yeah.
Upgraded.
You can't believe seeing minus 650. Like, you literally have to bet $650 on Islam to win 100. Like, who would risk that against someone like Dan Hooker? But it just makes you
Then
think,
again,
like,
then again, somebody when Amanda Nunes fought
Oh,
last time,
yeah.
they bet $318,000 on Amanda Nunes winning
that was
to
some
win
money.
like $10,000.
That was some money laundering. They were trying to clean it. There's no way.
They would have won like 75.
Someone who watches this is what I'm worried about. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, so we can move on to the next one. So,
Yeah.
congrats to Glover, oldest UFC champ, right?
Yeah, 43?
42, 43,
42,
something,
something like that.
Boy,
That's
okay.
impressive.
Event of the year is my next one.
Okay.
Event of the year.
Okay.
Boy, you couldn't fucking.
Yeah.
Woo!
This was a great.
No event touches this one.
No, I agree. It was absolutely loaded.
Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah, no doubt event of the year to me.
The decisions were all
It's
good.
the most stacked card.
There was a lot of decisions on this card, but they were really good.
The first fight.
Okay, that was. I don't like that because they were supposed to be the fight before the co-main event.
Yeah.
And I wish they wouldn't have changed it because
Yeah.
they robbed Billy Q and Shane Borgos.
Yeah.
Because that
Billy
was
Q and Shane. Wow.
Billy Q. If you're listening, come on the podcast. But
We love
I
Billy
know.
Q.
I'm in the Tampa area. Hook it up, bro. And I know you fight out of Tampa.
We love a Billy Q.
Yeah. Michael Chandler versus Gaethje, though. I mean,
Banger.
the most surprising thing about that fight was that it went to decision.
100%.
Nobody thought that.
The over-under was set at 1.5 rounds. So for it to double that and go to decision, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
No one expected that.
No.
Especially considering the hits they
Bro,
rocked each
Chandler-
other all fight.
Bro, Chandler dropped his hands and started walking forward, and Justin's just
Yeah.
piecing him up. I think Michael Chandler wanted to pull off a performance.
Yeah.
He knew that there was a lot of eyes, and he said, "I'm trying to."
Yeah, like even
win
Chandler
some
losing
friends.
that, He's still a winner in my book.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
both won that
Yeah.
fight.
That picture
Yeah.
of them both in the hospital that night.
They both
just
won. They
dapping it
both
up,
lost. Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, and I love that Justin Gaethje talks so much shit before a fight too, but he's always cool with the fighters afterwards.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje is one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah. Even during the fight, Gaethje's so just chill. Like the whole like smack talking just.
He hits so fucking hard.
Yeah.
So fucking hard. But then Shane Borgos, only fight I'd seen him fight before this Billy Q fight, and I didn't even realize it was this guy, was him versus Edson Barboza.
Yeah.
And Edson Barboza landed that really, really good punch on his forehead, and he was
like-
bouncing, and
it
then
was
all of a
delayed.
sudden, it was like a delayed knockout. We were
Yeah.
like, me and Colton were sitting there watching it.
He's like, is he falling?
It's like when your
I literally-
PS4 controller dies.
I said, did I just blink? And I know Edson Barboza's quick.
yeah.
I was like, but I just blink and he hit him when I wasn't watching?
Yeah.
Like, what
I've
the
never
fuck
seen
just hit
anything
him?
like that. Yeah.
Did someone shoot him from the crowd? Like, I didn't know what happened. It was weird.
It was such a
Super
delayed
weird.
reaction, but it was
But
so.
that was a good fight, too.
It was a
though.
great moment to just.
Yeah.
He just sit there wobbles. And just
PS4 controller definitely died.
Yeah. Yeah. But Shane Borgos versus Edson Barboza was a great fight.
It was.
It was a great fight, and then Edson's just such a savage.
Yeah.
But Billy Q, man, he
I
looked
love
like
Billy Q.
how the hell was he still standing? It looked like the man just got hit by a truck
Yeah.
and just kept going forward. Hats off to Billy Q, because he might have took the L, but I
Yeah.
think he won. Mentally, he
Right.
won. Like that was the most winning loss I'd seen.
Yeah. He has such a big fan base to not be ranked as well.
He's such a likable
He
guy.
is.
Such a likable guy. Plus, he I follow him on Instagram, and I think he's messaged me back about something before, because there was like this breakfast place that I went to, and the only reason I went to it is because he posted it,
That's
and I was
cool.
like, oh, that shit looks bussin'.
Yeah.
Turns out
was-
it is bussin'.
Okay.
And and then
Billy
I was
Q
like, dude,
put
that
him
place
on.
is awesome. And he's like, I know, right? And I was like, come on, the fuck out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And then you had Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera, which Marlon Vera is the guy who fought Sean O'Malley when Sean O'Malley's like foot
Yep.
got messed up.
Yep. Cheeto Vera was.
Yeah,
there,
I'd like to see them run it back.
Yeah.
But Marlon Vera is no fucking slouch.
Yep, for sure.
No fucking slouch for sure. And he really proved it there. That was like a front kick knockout.
Yeah, it was at the end of the. And honestly, Edgar was winning that fight before that, in my opinion.
It was close.
Yeah.
I'd say it was close.
Yeah.
Marlon Vera is just so like wiry.
Yeah.
Like when he fights, he's like all.
He's kind
all
of like
over the place.
Oliveira in the sense that like the first round he just takes it off and calculates, but it sucks for him because he's not getting main event fights.
Yeah.
So he only gets.
He
two.
will be though.
Yeah.
He will be. I think so. I think he's getting, especially on a night like that, to win the way he
Yeah.
did. You know, he had a lot of eyeballs, and so
I wonder if Frankie Edgar retires because he lost to Cheeto Vera and Sanhagen this year.
I mean, but those
And he's
are
up
two
there.
good guys though.
Yeah, he's
you
just
know?
getting up there.
Yeah. Is he old? Yeah, he's pretty old, I believe.
He's been
he's
around
fighting
for a while.
Yeah. And then next we got Thug Rose. That was a great fight.
It
Thug
was.
Rose, Zhang Weili 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, very close fight. Very, very close fight. I could have seen it going either way.
Yeah. A split decision.
Zhang Weili put so much power in her punches, though.
Yeah.
So much power.
Her
Like,
power looked good.
Yeah, but she didn't have the reach that she needed for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I think that takedown at the end for Rose in round 5 really sealed it. I think that was like okay.
Did you bet on any of these fights?
I bet on Rose. I was like, underdog, champ, got to do it again. I did bet on Justin Gaethje and Cheeto Vera actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the night that you told me you'd won some money.
Oh yeah, that was this was who was the main event? Was that Usman?
Usman.
Oh yeah, this was the $1,000 night. I had a flight 3 hours after this fight card. That's right.
Oh, that's when you went to California.
That was the LA night. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, this was a great night. This is my best fight card of the year right here.
Yeah. So mentally, I had voted that I said anybody who's trained by Trevor Whitman that night is
Right.
going to win.
Right.
Which I don't know if Frankie Edgar's trained by him or not. But I knew that going down the road, my thought of winning, I thought Kamaru
Right.
Usman, Rose, and I thought Gaethje.
Can we check the prelims? Was this the one that Chris Barnett was on? Because that
Chris Barnett? Oh yeah, I
he
think
was.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris
Curtis is a stud, by the way.
early
Might be
prelims. So that was Ian
Boom.
Gary,
Yeah, this was it.
Chris Barnett.
That
Yep.
was a good one.
This was
Yeah.
my big night.
That friggin'
Yeah, that summer
short.
Oh, my.
So everybody listening, Chris Barnett, if you don't know, now you do. But Chris Barnett is a short, thick, fat guy.
Yeah.
And he's super like energetic. Like he walked out and he was like doing this crazy dance.
He easily burned 100 calories during his walkout dance.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then he gets into the cage and he fights like he's 120 pounds
Yeah.
and just jacked.
That was a good
And
one.
friggin' knocked the other, and this is heavyweights,
Right.
and he knocked the other dude out with a spinning wheel kick.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was amazing.
What the
and
fuck?
that was the opponent's retiring fight too. So
Yeah, and then he did a freaking front flip.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
hit that.
He hit his ass pretty hard too.
Right.
But then you had a store brand Conor McGregor fight.
This is my favorite fight card of the year. Just reflecting now, wow, so hyped.
Yeah,
seeing all
this
these names.
for sure event of the year.
Yeah.
For sure. We watched this entire. Like I think I came over and you were on like the second fight of early prelims, but that Ian Gary versus
Gary's got the Conor McGregor hype now.
yeah
Just the market around him.
yeah everyone's like from what I've heard he's just generic brand Conor.
I did
he did a very good job in that fight.
I did like the perseverance because he was losing that round, and then he gets the finish with 1 second left.
Yeah.
That was very.
That was
impressive.
it was a good fight. I'm curious to see. I've got my eye on Mr. Ian Gary.
Yeah.
I hope he's not generic brand
Right.
Conor. I hope
and
he's,
the prelims.
I hope he's better.
The other dude that made his debut was the guy that beat Adesanya, Alex Pereira.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alex Pereira versus Andreas, which Alex Pereira was losing,
Yeah,
losing,
He was.
and he said, "Here's my knee."
Just like Ian Gary.
Fly,
Just-
yeah,
They bounced back.
yeah. Sad fight for me was Ali Aquinta versus Bobby Green.
Yeah.
I really wanted Ali Aquinta to win,
Right.
Especially because he gave Khabib one of Khabib's hardest fights.
Yeah.
And then to see Ali Aquinta
Now lose
versus
to
Bobby Green.
Get finished round 1.
Bobby Green's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's different for sure.
The way he does his beard and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude Chris Curtis is someone to watch out for as well.
He knocked out Philip Halls bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And
Especially
then
in
he
the
came
first
in
round.
and beat someone else later on in the year.
Yeah.
And he was big underdogs both times.
Yeah.
Man, Edmund Shabazian, he had that hype because he was Ronda Rousey's boy for a while, and he just hasn't put it together either.
Yeah. Some people, like, I've heard listening to other podcasts that, some people in the gym are the best fighters in the world,
Right.
but then they just get under the spotlight and they can't do it.
Right.
They just can't do it. They become somebody different.
Yeah.
Then we got probably, it's an honorable mention for fight of the year. Holloway versus Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Did you watch that, Colton?
I can't remember. I think I tuned in for that fight.
Okay, so Holloway versus Rodriguez. I didn't watch anything else on that card.
I agree.
I had something
was
going
same.
on that day.
Same.
It was a baby
I
shower.
was at the Lightning game, and I turned it on just for the Holloway fight.
I snuck out just to, because Holloway's your boy,
Right.
And I had to back my boy Dylan
right.
and watching
My
his
boy's
boy.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And Max Holloway's just so
Holloway needs a
likable.
title shot again.
Bro, Holloway's
He went 2-0
just-
this year.
He's so good. But Yar versus Yar Rodriguez versus Max Yar Rodriguez. That was his return fight. I believe
Yeah,
that
it was.
he had not fought for like 2 years.
Right.
Boy, he did so good though. Like
Yeah.
he lost, but did you see
He-
his foot?
Yeah, he's reflecting now. He should not have been a plus 500 favorite because even though it was unanimous, it was still a closer fight.
What do you mean plus 500 favorite?
So like, if you would have bet $100 on Yair to win and he would have won, you would have profited $500.
Yeah, I think it
he's
should have
a-
been closer.
He was a huge favorite,
But going in, nobody really knew who he
Right.
was in
Yeah.
comparison to
and
Max
everyone knows who
Holloway.
Max Holloway is. I
Yeah,
get that.
so that's most of where your betting favorite comes
Right.
from. It's not who actually people think will
Right.
win. It's like who do more
Yeah.
people know.
It'll be interesting to see how Yair is next time he fights, just because we all know he
Dude,
can still fight.
Amazing kickboxer.
Yeah.
Amazing. His kicks were ridiculous.
Insane.
I want to know if I'm fairly sure his foot broke. There's no way it didn't.
Oh, it had to have.
He swollen. Oh, it looked so gross.
It had to.
Oh, and that was after like he stopped throwing his kicks. It was a 5-round fight. I think it was like round 2 or 3. But he in the second round he was landing some head kicks and I literally was like, man, at round 3, 4, and 5, if his foot would have still been in good shape, I think he could have potentially knocked Max Holloway out.
Potentially,
I think
for
the
sure.
potential was
Yeah.
there.
Always possible.
Amazing fight, and then Yar Rodriguez just showed his heart too,
Yeah.
man. Because to not get knocked out
Yeah.
after the damage he took from Holloway,
Right.
Holloway's such a savage, such
I
a
need
great
Holloway's-
great fight. I'd like to see that fight again.
I'm not mad at it.
And then we're about to end it up with the last main event. And we can talk about Lewis versus Dawkins too that happened recently, but
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
I tuned in for just Lewis Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Oliveira versus Poirier. So I'd just
fight.
like to sit here on my high horse and tell you I was right.
You did call it. I
You were wrong.
had Poirier in this one.
Yeah.
Yep, you were right.
Sean O'Malley.
Gotta give credits where it's due.
Sean O'Malley versus Raulian I'd never heard of that guy before. I'll be honest.
Raleigh and Paiva.
Most people that Sean O'Malley fights, I've never heard of before.
Yeah,
Sean
Paiva was
O'Malley's
definitely his biggest competition so far.
for how large of a following Sean O'Malley has. The
Yeah.
people he fights have like
Right.
yeah. And
I
it
really
just-
want to see Cody Garbrandt next with him after their presser they had.
Cody Garbrandt, man, it's so
Yeah.
sad. I love Cody Garbrandt so much to
Right.
just watch him,
Yeah.
especially because he went down in weight too.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah.
so thin, man.
You were also right about that too.
Yeah, I said I think he's gonna get knocked out
You
again.
did, yep,
Yeah.
you did call that round 1.
And then
Well, Kai Kara France. He's
Yeah.
he trains with Adesanya.
Right.
Adesanya
Yeah.
and Dan Hooker and them at the City Kickboxing in
You are who you hang out with.
yeah, and he's really good. He's
Yeah.
got some L's too, but
Mhm.
but he's really good. And then I just knew that Cody Garbrandt, like I've just
Yeah.
as much as I love Cody Garbrandt, it's been really sad to see what's been happening.
Right.
He got that one knockout on whatever that guy was. I think it was Frankie Edgar. Did he knock out Frankie
Yeah, it
Edgar?
was Frank Edgar.
Yeah, and with that crazy overhand right,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that I mean, the knockout was great, but,
Right.
but the fight before that, it was
Yeah, I agree. The upset of the year.
oh man, biggest upset of the year.
no
Julie-
doubt. No, there's no
Minus 1,000.
the second place contender to biggest upset of the year isn't even close.
No.
Because Juliana Pena, the betting odds were just like,
Yeah.
Gosh.
you,
Bet
like,
$100 to win $650.
this is the most wrong I've ever been. Because I literally, I mean,
Everyone.
every time I've ever seen Amanda Nunes fight, I'm just like, who's she gonna win against? Okay,
Too cocky.
she got really cocky.
She looked like she
I
wasn't there
think she's just-
headspace wise.
I think she's just too cocky. She's so comfortable. She knows what she's about, and she knows that the next level competition isn't even that close to her.
Right.
And then Juliana Pena said, "Here's my left hand. Taste
And
this jab. Taste
I
this
respect
jab."
Pena so much now because like whenever Megan Anderson went against Nunes, like you could tell Anderson was like scared of the moment. Like Pena this whole time said, "I'm gonna finish. Like I'm gonna handle it."
Yeah,
And it wasn't even a long fight. Like mid round 2, I mean, it's not like she gassed Nunes out. That was at Nunes' best form.
that's why. So one of the things I've always said, like people that can switch stances when they fight.
Yeah.
If you can put your power hand as your front hand and you can land jabs,
Right.
like your jab, like so I'm right-handed, and my jab with my right hand when my right hand's forward is much stronger than my left hand jab.
Yeah.
But it's just because my right hand's stronger. That's my power hand because
Right.
I'm right-handed, and I've always said that like jabs don't do much damage in comparison to like a full like overhand right from somebody who's got their left hand forward, but. I mean, if you can get some jabs like she did, because a jab will stop somebody in their place. And Amanda Nunes is somebody who needs to be stopped in her place. And that is what she did. Amanda couldn't even throw punches because every time she did, she'd get a strong, stiff jab right to the mouth.
Yeah.
And it happened. I mean, Juliana hit her. I mean, essentially, that's almost what knocked Amanda Nunes out was just strong jabs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah.
hit the ground and just choked her out. She didn't even have her, like, her legs hooked in.
Yeah.
So like some fighters would have just rolled out of that. Like,
Right.
if that was Michael Chandler, he would have just like rolled his way out of it.
Yeah, Nunes seemed to just accept it.
She just gave up. I mean, I don't want to say she gave up because that's not
Right.
true, but she, all things considered, she was
Yeah.
done. She was done.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, I know where this is going.
Yeah. So all the credit to Juliana Pena.
That was a wild way to end the year.
bro.
Last pay-per-view.
Bro, I remember I friggin' like stood up on Colton's couch and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Nobody could believe it.
Bro, it was
No.
like 1 a.m. when that happened too.
Yeah.
Or midnight.
Seeing DC and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, they just both of them were like, ah! I mean, everybody was.
Yeah.
The freaking crowd, like Dan Bilzerian. I remember seeing. I watched Dan Bilzerian was behind Joe Rogan and them, and you just see like Dan Bilzerian is like, oh shit, because you know Dan Bilzerian's got money and he's a bettor, so I'm sure he bet on Amanda Nunes to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah. I wonder if he was
He-
at 300,000.
Maybe. So I brought this up earlier.
Okay.
And now it's time to talk about it. I think there's 2 scenarios for who bet that much money. Somebody who was really down on their luck, took out a mortgage of their house and bet it thinking it was an easy way to make 20, 30 grand.
Yeah.
I think that is possible, which makes it even really sad. Because now...
Pour one out.
It was a weird amount. It was like 318,000.
Yeah.
Right. A very specific
Yeah, it
amount.
wasn't like
That's-
320, it
That's
wasn't
what makes me
3.
think...
50, like,
Right.
even.
Somebody literally bet the house on Amanda Nunes winning, is what I think. And I think that makes it even more sad because it's like, damn, you don't. Like, I hope
Right.
whoever it was, I hope if you're listening to this, I hope you're okay. Listen to some financial podcasts if that's the case. If you were down on your luck and trying to
That's
get money.
tough.
That ain't the way to do it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, betting's not
Playing
the way to
with
do
fire
it.
right there.
Get some better habits, some better financial habits, and I hope better luck for you.
I think they were trying to clean some money laundering.
Something.
or
318.
or somebody really fucking rich was just like, I got 300, or
Right.
somebody who just signed a really good deal,
Right.
and
So,
somebody
let's
who's
just
making a
flip it
bunch
on
of money,
Nunes.
like $318,000, like I'll just flip it real quick, and if I
Right.
lose it, whatever.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case,
Yeah.
because I don't want to hear anybody lost 318,000.
I wish they did follow-up interviews with these people, whether they won all that money or they lost the 318,000. Like, what
Would you do? Because you're gonna be the one that's there one
Cry.
day. The next 20 years, bro, you're gonna be there.
I don't
You're
think
gonna
I
be
could
betting
have-
318,000 one day.
No, not me.
You,
I keep it the same regardless, because I would hate to build up to that point. And don't look at me like
I'm
that.
skeptical as fuck, Dylan. I'm skeptical as fuck, bro. One of these days, you're gonna have amounted so much
Especially
money.
with UFC, like you do all the research, but at the end of the day, it takes one slip to get choked out
Here's
or
what I
one
think.
hit to get Derek Lewis.
Here's what I think, Dylan. I think your mentality
Okay.
and how you've been betting
Yeah.
at such a young age,
Uh-huh.
and how you've been doing with it.
Right.
I think that one day in the next 20 years, it's possible you could have surmounted a lot of cash.
Okay.
And I'm hoping
Right.
so.
appreciate that.
I think you will.
I appreciate that.
But then I imagine what happens is you're like 318,000. That's a drop in the bucket.
Okay.
I'm
Goals.
I'm Dylan. Like this is
Right.
I got friggin'
Wow.
50 mil chilling in the
Okay.
bank from sports betting.
Okay.
You're like walking around in a suit and you're like 318,000. Amanda Nunes is for sure gonna win. And he just tosses it.
don't
I hope
know,
so.
man.
I hope I can look back on this podcast one day and be like, I told you, Dylan.
manifested it.
I told you. But don't
You
lose.
were right
don't
about
lose
a
the
lot
money.
on this card, so you're calling your shot now from this card. So this
I
might
was
be a thing.
hella wrong about that fight
Right.
though.
Everyone was.
Everybody
Right.
was, except for Juliana Pena.
But you were right about Garbrandt losing.
She stood toe to toe with Amanda Nunes, and then my boy Charles Oliveira
This was another one you were right about.
almost lost in the first round. And I learned
Yeah.
he's not a first round fighter.
Yeah.
I do agree, and no, I don't think anyone can disagree that second round when Charles Oliveira cheated and grabbed Dustin
That
Poirier's
was
glove,
blatant.
that was a big shift.
That upset me.
Huge turning point.
It really flipped that whole round.
It's sad to me because if you just block out that part of the fight,
Yeah.
that he grabbed his glove. But I'm saying,
Yeah,
if
really
you just
can't.
block it out,
Colin's right.
no, I'm saying mentally, I'm not.
He would have
Yeah.
got up. They would have stood back up.
Yes.
It would've been
Yeah, because Dustin was trying to
Because
pull away.
Poirier had the advantage on the feet.
Yeah. I mean, Charles was doing pretty good with him, but Charles definitely got rocked by
Right.
Dustin. But that was the first round, and Charles always fights like that in the first
Yeah.
round. So it would have been interesting to see what happened after that. But if you watch that fight and someone edits out that part,
Yeah.
fantastic fight. That second round
Mm-hmm.
was. Some people will say it's boring because all Dustin did was just hold on to Charles in full guard
It's the
and keep him.
technicality of it.
But what Charles was doing in full guard,
Right.
imagine you're laying flat on your back on the
Right.
ground, your head's directly against the mat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just rubbing my skinny forearms
Yeah.
because he's just basically rubbing his shin bones, his
Gonna
elbows. Charles did a lot of damage in that second
Right.
round to Dustin Poirier.
Low key, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Colton are sitting there watching. And we're like, oh god,
Yeah.
oh, covering his mouth, taking his shin or
Yeah.
his forearms and rubbing them up and down his face. Imagine you know how much it hurts to get
That
hit in
would
the
hurt.
nose.
Yeah.
Now imagine someone's just rubbing something.
Right.
It's not just a quick punch to the nose. It's
Yeah.
like here. Let me just
Yeah.
rub your
It's
nose.
steady and
oh.
consistent.
Pretty sure Dustin broke his nose that fight if
For
it wasn't
sure.
already broken.
Yeah, I was upset whenever he did the glove grab. Especially as a Poirier better.
Oh man.
Normally if I lose a bet,
I
I'm
was
like,
upset.
whatever. But whenever it's something like that happens, just like,
Yeah, and then that took all the gas away from Dustin. That second round where he just got his face had to hurt so fucking bad.
yeah.
And then going into that second round, and he gets him in a choke. Imagine your face hurts super bad, and then someone's choking you out
Right.
too. I would have liked to have seen Dustin try and at least jump and smack Charles Oliveira and try and spin around,
Right.
something to get out of that choke. I don't like that he got choked standing up.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he would have tried something else, but fantastic fight. Dustin Poirier did great in round one. I'd like to see that fight again.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after the glove grab. So, I don't know that Charles did that in the moment on purpose,
Right.
but either way,
They should have stopped it.
they should have
Way
reset
back.
right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So, do you think in the division Poirier has the best chance of beating Oliveira, or is it Gaethje?
No. No,
Or Islam?
neither.
Islam?
Islam or Benil Dariush.
Okay. I like that. That division is the most stacked, right? It's got to be
Oh,
easily.
It's not. We're
Okay.
not even
I
talking.
think Islam
Yeah.
will take it when he gets up.
Okay.
I think. So that was the last one we want to talk about, so we can move on.
Yeah.
But I think that the fight to see now is Islam versus Beneil Dariush.
Okay.
Both great ground fighters.
I like that.
So it's really who just gets to it first. I think Islam wins that fight. And then I think I want to see the winner of that fight Oliveira. I think you're going to see Gaethje versus Oliveira, and the
Okay.
winner of that fight will fight the winner of Beneil versus Islam.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that I love Justin Gaethje,
Right.
and that's going to be a great fight, and it's going to be hard to say because you can do MMA math and say that Chandler and Justin fought, and Oliveira knocked out Chandler, and Gaethje couldn't knock out Chandler.
Right.
But I think that's wrong, and I think it's just going to take Gaethje landing one punch on Oliveira and flatline him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Oliveira still wins that fight because,
Okay.
like I said, the hard part to understand is that Oliveira can control the fight anywhere. The problem is getting Gaethje to the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
But Khabib did it.
Yeah. So Islam.
Yeah, Khabib did
It's a
it.
good way to look at it.
Khabib got him
Yeah.
to the ground. Chandler got him to the ground. Granted, they popped right back up.
Right. Instant.
But they're also world class wrestlers.
Right. Right.
Is Oliveira a world class wrestler? He's good, but the good part about Oliveira, and I told you this when he fought Dustin, he's like, you said that Dustin's takedown defense was really high,
Right.
and I said Oliveira doesn't need to go to the ground
That's
to
right.
win.
And he did a standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My confidence boost after picking that fight.
You really did good that
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
event.
I did pretty, except for Juliana Pena.
Right.
Didn't see that one coming.
To be fair, no one.
Yeah, Juliana Pena barely saw it coming.
No one.
When they interviewed her and she's holding her daughter and she goes, "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers." I was like, yes.
That was a UFC
Yes.
moment too. And then when the daughter went up to apologize to Nunes for losing, I was like,
I apologized to Nunez's
Yeah.
daughter.
no, Pena's daughter went up to Nunes and apologized for Nunes
Yeah?
losing.
Yeah, I'm pretty
to
sure
her
she
mom.
apologized to.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, to her daughter too.
That's
Though, like
so
the
sweet.
daughters
Yeah.
hugged of each of them.
That's so pure.
Yeah,
Look at UFC being wholesome.
yeah. I much prefer that. Charles Oliveira is such a respectable guy too.
Right.
Like he walks over and like the guards that are like in the fight, they're
Yeah.
like blocking him. And he's like, no, I just wanted to shake his hand.
Right.
I just want to like
And
be
then
respectful.
Poirier wanted to donate after. To
Yeah,
Oliveira.
yeah. Oh
Win-wins.
man, Dustin Poirier is so likable.
Yeah.
It's always bitter to see him lose, especially since Oliveira grabbed his glove.
Right.
So I love Charles Oliveira, but that was a little.
Yeah, that one hurt my feelings and my bankroll. So
Yeah, that was the worst one you had of the year, probably.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was sad.
You said you lost money that fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it happens.
you gotta win. You win big sometimes.
Yeah.
Some days you're the hammer.
Right.
Some days you're the nail.
That's why
You
we
were the
never
nail.
bet 318K. Because imagine doing 318K on Poirier and that glove happens. Yeah.
Bro, you be thinking about death threats on Charles
Become
Oliveira
a
for
hockey
300.
fan or rugby or something. I can't watch UFC anymore.
Charles Oliveira is so good, but he's not a first round fighter. So it's going to be interesting
Right.
to see him versus
The
Gaethje.
smart betting move from now on is just to live bet Oliveira after round one because he
Yes.
keeps losing round one, so
Yes.
his odds are gonna.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the smart
Round
thing to
one's
do.
definitely he's his biggest thing is he almost gets knocked out,
Every
but he's
time.
able to survive, and
Yeah.
and maybe one day that won't be the case.
I wonder if
as
that
he gets older.
goes into his opponent's like mental aspect. They're like, I almost knocked this dude out. Like, what do I have to do to get rid of him?
Yeah,
And then around two, he's a brand new person. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, because then I think he has nerves in his
Right. Mm-hmm.
first round because you never know if you've never fought the person before, you don't know what it's
Right.
like, and then you get tagged by a couple of them and you're like, okay, I felt his best.
Yeah.
I felt his best. Now I know what I do. Yeah. Now it's almost like you get a better game plan after the first round once you start to. It's almost like he does. So
Right.
he's so good. I don't think he's going to be champ for forever. He's not going to be like an Usman champ.
Right.
But I think he will stay champ for maybe one or two more fights.
Okay.
The problem is that division, the lightweight division, is so stacked that it's
Yeah.
going to be.
It's gonna be tough to retain that for anyone.
Yeah.
To be fair.
He's able to hold his own against Islam. if that
Yeah.
happens.
Islam's gonna
That's
be tough as
That's
You,
gonna
you,
be-
you best believe I ain't making plans for that night.
right.
Best believe if it happens, because
If
that
it
means
happens.
Islam has to win over Beneil Dariush, which that's going to be a close fight. I don't know who I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I would pick Islam if
Right.
you said, Ryan, here's $20, I need you to bet. I would
Right.
say Islam.
Yeah.
But if you gave me like the opportunity to not bet on it, I probably wouldn't.
Right.
But I would say Islam
fair.
because Beneil's he's really good too. His jiu-jitsu's next world, especially to see what he did to Tony Ferguson.
Right.
Same thing with
That was a
Oliveira.
statement win for sure.
So if Oliveira loses to Gaethje and if Beneil Dariush loses to Islam, Beneil Dariush versus Oliveira's got to be the next. Got to be the next fight because I'd love to see that. Yeah. They're both because to see what both of them did to Tony Ferguson,
right,
and then go against each other, be a great fight.
So what do you guys think is next for Poirier?
Well, I've got a whole list of things that I think are next. Okay. So let's go. Let's do your picks first.
Okay.
So who do you have for knockout of the year?
All right. It's not a big name at all, but I got most excited when I saw this. It was August 21st. I went back and pulled it up. Ignacio Bahamundes versus Roosevelt Roberts. He had a spinning wheelhouse round kick.
Yeah.
5 seconds left in the fight, which he was going to win unanimous decision anyway.
Yeah, you hear the clapper go off?
Yeah. And just the 360. As the clapper's going off, the dude just...
Yeah, that was an epic knockout.
That was my favorite of the year.
All things considered.
Yeah.
My knockout of the year.
Uh-huh.
Rose versus Zhang Weili.
That was a good one. You can't be mad at that.
Because then after that knockout, like notable mention for sure, Usman Masvidal. That picture is going to be impossible to be. If I'm Usman, I'm getting that freaking blown up by it's 8 foot by 4
canvas,
foot. Freaking put that in the big hallway of my house. Everyone's seeing that.
I'm sending it to Masvidal.
Freaking the sweat everywhere.
Everything.
Masvidal would even like to have that. See it.
Right. Yeah. It really is.
That was that picture. Because you clearly see his eyes closed, and then Usman's just like gritting down.
Yeah. That was a huge win.
But the knockout of Rose versus Zhang to me was just all things considered. When I'm the best,
right?
I am the best. When her husband or boyfriend or fiance, the former he was a heavyweight. Wow, I can't remember his name, but when he's like, "You're the best," she's like, "I'm the best," bro.
That's hype.
Like gives me
makes
chills.
you want to run through a wall.
Gives me chills. Gives me chills. I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you guys to get here, and I was freaking watching the UFC recap because they did some recap videos, and they played that, and I still got chills. Yeah. It makes me get well
good
up.
for the sport, man. Yeah. The disguise of that leg though was just so beautiful.
What's the next one, Dylan? What's the next
submission of the year?
Who do you got?
Andre Muniz. He had an inverted armbar on Ronaldo Souza and legit broke his arm in round 1.
Oh, that's the dude.
Yeah.
He snapped his arm.
In round 1.
Wait, no. Who am I thinking of?
Because there's one that his arm dislocated.
That was the Jamal Hill John Mahal Hill.
What was the names again?
It was Andre Muniz versus Ronaldo Souza.
Is Souza is the one who retired, right? Old guy, bald, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
I think that was Jakari Souza.
Pull up can you pull up those people?
What was the names again?
Andre Muniz.
And who?
Ronaldo Souza. It'd be a quick clip too because it was round 1. Yep.
Souza. Go to images. I want to see the images, not a video.
Well, you've seen the video.
Okay. I just wanted to see the people more than the actual submission. Because I'm pretty sure this is the dude who was upside down. Because that's the dude that Holland knocked out, right?
No, the dude Holland knocked out was Jakari.
So you're just gonna see this guy the whole fucking video.
Yeah, that's why I want to go to images. This fucking dork right here, the UFC with a skeleton behind him.
You know what, Ryan? You want to control this?
No, not really. Oh, I'm thinking of Jacques Array. Yeah. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Jacques Array is the one that lost to
Holland. I don't know if I saw this one.
Dude, it was a beautiful armbar.
Broke it?
Yeah, legit broke his arm. Yeah. It was an inverted armbar.
Yeah, that Andre Muniz dude is built different.
Yeah, his submissions are crazy.
He's got to be one of those contenders, I'm sure.
There's Jacques Souza.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a different Souza?
Yeah, this.
Bro, he's fucking up all the Souzas, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude,
that dude's
armbar was beautiful. It was easily submission of the year for me.
He broke the dude's arm?
Legit broke it.
Oh, wow.
Inverted armbar.
He'd be snapping people's limbs, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that dude's savage, though.
Yeah.
That dude is a savage. Yeah. He's going to be going places.
He's a submission specialist for sure.
Yeah.
Because he broke Jacques Souza's arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jocks was gross because you could hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to know who I have sub of the year?
Let's hear it.
All things considered?
Uh-huh.
Who do you think?
Probably Oliveira.
No. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo.
I like that.
Boy.
I like that.
My emotions, not one fight had my emotions as high as
Brandon
Moreno versus Figgy. Especially because they had that right after it happened. You watch it happen and especially with how close the first fight was.
Right.
And then you watch Brandon Moreno stand up and just walk around and just look and just go, like just soaking it all in. I remember that night. I was like, that was
These are
a
great
good
answers.
time. That was
Yeah,
a great
I like
one
that.
to be a part
I
of.
like that. That's good.
That was a good.
I like how you have like the main event type dudes, like the big names, and I got the Loki, so it's a good one for both sides.
Well,
That's
he
really-
that wasn't even the main event. That was
No,
a
I'm just
co-main.
like big name fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo. Because
That was a good
I'm not
one.
just looking at the submission for one
Right.
or the knockout. I'm looking for like all things considered.
Yeah, the whole
And-
aspect.
Yeah, and that Brandon Moreno versus
That's a great
Figueiredo.
answer.
Psst. I love Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
I'm a big Brandon Moreno guy now because of those 2 fights with Figueiredo.
Mhm.
Psst. He's so good.
Have you seen his Funko
He's so-
Pop collection?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
impressive.
exactly. He does Legos.
Yeah.
He's like such a nerd, but he's just like super nice. It's
Yeah.
nice to see
Don't
the
mess
nice
with the
guy
nerds,
win.
man.
It's super awesome to see the nice
Yeah.
guys win.
For sure.
So, what you got next?
All right, fight of the year. I already said it. Volkanovski versus Ortega.
Yeah, I got
That's
same thing.
Easily. Okay.
Same thing.
Fighter of the year. Who do you got?
You go first.
All right, I got Kamaru Usman. You knock out Gilbert Burns. You knock out Masvidal, and then you go to unanimous decision over Covington, and then
Was it unanimous? It wasn't split decision?
That was unanimous.
Oh, okay.
And then my big thing for Usman is no other title holder, champion, if you will, defended the title twice and won this year. Usman defended it 3 times and won. So anyone that was champion and defended it won once, and Usman did it 2 more times than anyone else.
Usman's just next level.
Exactly.
He's just next. He's one of those people that he controls where the fight goes. There's not somebody in that division that I think his biggest worry would be Khamzat Chimaev.
That was my fight who I wanted to see, Usman and Chimaev.
Yeah, I want to see Chimaev fight one more person just
Yeah.
to really seal the deal.
Right.
Somebody in the top 5.
Right.
And then I think you see
I
that
agree.
that fight if it doesn't happen next. Shit.
I want to see Chimaev and Muhammad as the build up for that, Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, I don't.
Because Bilal's been winning too.
Yeah, but
Bless you.
excuse me. Thank you. My thought is that, yeah, I still think Khamzat wins that fight.
He should.
Yeah. Now, before I said, well, my fighter of the year, I have 3.
Okay.
I couldn't decide.
That's fair.
I couldn't decide.
I got a couple contenders and prospects, so.
I got Brandon Moreno
Okay.
because
Good
just,
answer.
just devastating.
Yeah.
You know that their first fight was in 2020 though, I
Yes.
believe.
Yeah, it was late. It was like
Yeah.
December
But
2020.
it's just so hard not for me to not like him.
Right.
You know, it's just he's so likable,
Yeah.
especially because just like I love the Spanish culture,
Right.
and he's the first Mexican-born champ,
Mhm.
and he's just great person,
Sure.
and it's nice to see the nice guy win.
Yeah.
I like when the nice guy wins. Charles Oliveira,
Mhm.
because you see it to see him go from everything he's been through. He
Yeah.
grew up in like the favelas and stuff, and
Right.
and he's been in the UFC for a long time. And he at the beginning of his career was a little shaky.
It's off to a slow start.
Yeah, and then to see him with how many UFC fights he's got to
Right.
just be as devastating as he is.
Yeah.
I remember when we first started really getting into the UFC in like beginning of 2020 or into 2019, and I remember watching Oliveira. Like I'd never heard of the dude before, but to see what he did, somebody went in to go for a takedown, and he caught them in like a falling guillotine, and I was like,
Insane. Like, who
that's
else
like
can do that? Yeah.
I was like, that's next level.
Right.
That's next. And
He's
he
a
was
good choice for this
he was
year.
piecing the dude up on the. Like, imagine you're fighting somebody who's really good on the ground and you know is really good on the
Right.
ground, like most submissions in UFC history,
Yeah.
and he's piecing you up so bad on the feet that you go to take him to the ground.
Right.
Like that just shows that there's levels.
Yeah. He's to beat Chandler and Poirier. You got to be in the mentions for.
So
fighter
he's
of
got to
the
be
year.
got to
I
be fighter of
agree.
the year. Yeah. And then Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
Islam's just so good.
He's a stud. Man.
He's on his
He
run.
looks unbeatable right now.
Yeah. I don't the people I would think could beat him, it's still debatable.
Right.
There's not one person there that I'm just like even if Khabib came back, I'm just still like
Yeah.
maybe.
Right.
Maybe, but
Mhm.
I mean, they train together so much that it would be really, really close.
Right.
It's all about like it'll be down to like split seconds at that point.
Right.
Split seconds. So that's who I got.
That's a
If
good
I had to
one.
pick one of the 3, I'd probably say Brandon Moreno, just because the night that he won against Figueiredo,
Yeah.
I was just elated, especially watching him like he walks around and he's just like unemotionless and he's just
Right.
soaking it all in, and then he just like
feel that.
just falls over and starts crying.
Yeah.
Like,
So no Usman, huh?
well, it's not that I
Right.
don't think he's not fighter of the year. He's
Right.
just so good that it's
okay.
he's so good in comparison to everyone else.
Okay.
Like
I get that.
yeah, I feel like these guys are just like I mean, Islam's so kind of the same
Right.
thing, but I like Usman a lot. He's so good. It's hard
Yeah. Okay.
not to think that he's just
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem fair for me to pick him.
Right.
So-
So I get that.
event of the year has to be Madison Square
I
Garden.
agree. Yeah,
UFC
100%.
268 Covington versus Usman.
That was the one for sure.
Such a good fight.
Yep.
Did you
Easy
pick an
winner.
event of the year?
That was same one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think everybody that watched UFC would say that. What are your top moments of 2021?
That was part of the best debut for me. I put Terrence McKinney, and I don't know if you guys remember that fight, but he was a 3-day fill-in against Matt Favola. He had a storyline with the UFC how apparently he's died twice and like he's recovered. That guy.
Yes. Yeah. Because drug overdoses, right? Yeah.
And he comes in as a plus 300 underdog and 7-second knockout just finishes Favola, and like that was insane to me.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
So that was a huge moment. The Rose one, huge moment. Moreno once again.
I got Brandon Moreno win over Figgy. Yeah.
The Derek Lewis knockout against Blades was a big one for me.
That was a big moment. Yeah.
Those are my 4.
Mine is Charles win over Michael Chandler.
Okay.
That was a huge moment
that's great.
to me.
There's so many good answers for something like this.
Brandon Moreno's win over Figueiredo. And then this is, if I had to pick one of my 3 that I had written down,
Right.
It was Dustin's win over Connor.
Okay.
Dustin's win over Connor.
I like that.
Actually, it's hard not to say now.
Right.
I didn't even think about this yesterday. Is the Juliana Pena versus that's a big moment.
Probably a top one too. That's right.
Yeah. What do you have for bust of the year?
Without a doubt, 100% Tyron Woodley.
Go ahead.
My opinion, you lose to Jake Paul twice, right? And then he's on a 4-fight losing streak in the UFC building off of that. So it really he's lost 6 bouts in a row. It's got to be Tyron Woodley.
Yeah. I say bust of the year is Connor versus Dustin 3
That's
when
fair.
Connor's leg broke.
Okay.
Because
I like that.
you pay $75 or $70.
Right. End of round 1. That's fair.
And a great round 1.
Yeah.
And you know that the big thing that Dustin had was those leg kicks in that first round.
Right.
And you see Connor having some answers for him.
Yeah.
And Connor's throwing some leg kicks of his own.
Uh-huh.
And then breaks his leg at the end of the round.
That's a good answer, man. It really is.
Because I didn't even know he broke his leg
No.
at first until they reviewed the footage. Like, he
And then
fell
you
on the
got-
ground. And I was like, oh, Dustin knocked him down at the end of the fight. And it was like, oh, no, he
Yeah,
broke his leg. Oh, shit.
It's a good answer.
So,
Tyron Woodley, man.
yeah.
He's made so much more money though.
Yeah.
with losses.
He's won not in the sport, but he's won outside financially.
It's like Paul gifted him a fucking Rolex.
Yeah.
Like, it's
All that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd fight Jake Paul for $1 million. Like, right now.
I'd do it.
Right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
To the death. No, I'm
I'll
just kidding.
fake it, too. He could build his record.
Oh, I'm not going to fake it. I'll go in there and what if they write on the contract, like, if you fake it, you get no money. I'll go in there and try to beat his ass. I don't care if I get knocked out.
Yeah.
What is that? One time? I think
Millie
I'd be
is a
okay.
Millie. Bet all on a man at a noon. Never mind.
Bet the house on a
Yeah.
Upset of the year. You got one of them?
Pena.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Only.
I don't think anyone else will say anything else.
First-
Yeah, that's
That's a
unanimous
clear one,
decision. We
right.
did a poll. Everyone agrees.
For sure.
I did a craziness of the year.
Craziness of the year.
It
Okay.
has to be O'Malley versus, because I couldn't let that be
Yeah, that moment.
the Mutino guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was just me and Colton were just sitting there watching, like, how the fuck is he still standing?
Right.
How's he not dead?
Maybe a notable mention with that one would be Max Holloway versus Calvin Cater. Because
Yeah.
the same thing. I'm just like, how is he still fucking
I think
standing?
mine would be the delayed from Barboza.
That was good.
That was the moment I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, when Barboza
Yeah.
with Shane Borgos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, Burgos just.
A notable mention, Billy Q versus Shane Borgos.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shane Borgos,
Right.
like that's my notable mention.
That's a good one.
That was the crazy part is they got robbed because Gaethje versus Chandler was before that.
Okay.
And people watch Gaethje versus Chandler and everybody's like if you could graph the adrenaline, it was like Gaethje versus Chandler, and then it's like, okay, into fight. And I'm like, okay, all right. But then, like, if they had done that fight as the fight before the co-main event,
Right.
and if Billy Q versus Shane Borgos was the start of that main card,
Mm-hmm.
bro, everyone would have loved
Yeah.
that fight. That would have been a great fight to have before Chandler versus Gaethje.
Right.
Yeah.
If they had switched those two. Because Billy Q, man, he might have
Yeah.
lost, but I think he won. In my
It was a good fight.
in my mind, he didn't lose anything besides.
He won in our hearts for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because he was barely standing.
Right.
Barely standing. He was fucked up.
Okay.
So,
I got 4 prospects to watch out for. Not people that I think are going to be champs this year or contenders, but just young people to watch out for. So, Jeff Molina, he's a flyweight. He's 24, so he's our age. 2-0 in the UFC. He's just really likable. He's got good hands. The girl I wanted to mention is Casey O'Neill. She's a women's flyweight. She's 3-0 in the UFC, albeit a finish, which that's rare for the women's division. And someone like Valentina, you're gonna have to finish her. You're not gonna beat her 5 rounds.
Yeah,
So I think she's someone to watch out for.
Yeah, and definitely if you're just getting into the women's division, you have to be starching people to be on the same class as Valentina.
So Casey's already finishing them. Bantamweight, Jack Shore. He's 15-0 and he's 4-0 in the UFC. So always got to pay attention to the undefeateds.
Yeah.
And then for heavyweight, I got Tom Aspinall. He's 11-2, 4-0 in the UFC.
I like Aspinall.
Yeah, he's a dope guy. And then contenders, people that I think that could be champs this year. Jiri for light heavyweight, 12-fight winning streak.
You talking about Yuri?
Yeah.
Yuri Proska?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Khamzat, 4-0 obviously. Islam. And then Merab Dvalishvili. I think I said that right. He started 0-2 in the UFC, and now he's on a 7-fight winning streak. And I don't think he's getting talked about enough. Bantamweight, I think. Bantamweight.
So I got the Billy Q fight from a notable mention.
Okay.
I can't wait to watch. Do you know who Thug Nasty is?
Rose?
No, Thug Nasty.
Oh, you're
That's
talking about
his nickname.
Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell.
Bro.
He's undefeated too, I think.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't fight this year because
Yeah.
he had an injury. I think like a
That's
broken
right.
hand or something
he
like that.
was late 2020, I think.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bryce
yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah, Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. Where's my camo shorts? You
Yeah.
never saw that video?
Was that a YouTube video?
Yeah, it
I
was
think I saw that
one of the
then. I think
UFC
you sent
hype
that to
videos,
me.
bro. He's like, Arkansas. Every
Yeah,
time
you
you give
sent
a
that to
mic in my
me.
face, I'm finna say Arkansas. He just came out with a rap album
That's
too.
fantastic.
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Actually pretty
Tyron
good.
Woodley's gone, so someone's got to do it.
Bro, I like me some. It's just so funny because he's like such a redneck, lives in like a trailer,
Yeah.
drinks like Jocko energy drinks
What a
and
guy.
Jocko like protein, and then he's just like chopping down trees for cardio and shit. And
It just shows you could be
I
yourself
need my
and be
camo
marketable.
shorts. Oh, he's so fucking Arkansas.
That's awesome.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm finna say Arkansas. Hey
I
Reebok,
love it.
I ain't shutting up till you give me some camo shorts.
Love it.
He got his camo shorts and he's like, all right, Reebok, I see you.
Yeah.
And then they switched to Venom. They switched to Venom for the shorts last
That's
year.
great.
I can't wait to see him fight again. And then somebody that we didn't talk about at all because they didn't fight this year, John Jones.
John Jones, yep.
I want to see him fight because I want to see what he does at heavyweight. But man, that dude needs to get his life on track.
Yeah.
After all the shit he's done.
Yeah, he's going through so much.
Yeah, and let's be real, his last couple of fights were meh at best. You know, he can't get his life outside of the
He's his
UFC on
biggest
track
enemy.
enough. Yeah,
He really is.
He trips on his own feet.
Yeah.
And when he didn't, he just I feel like he came up too young, too fast.
Right. Everything got to him.
Yep. All right, Dylan, what else you got?
Fights I want to see: Usman and Chimaev. That would be crazy. McGregor and Diaz Part 3. That'd be good. And then Oliveira and Gaethje were the 3 I wanted to see.
Oliveira and Gaethje would be good.
Yeah.
So my list for 2022 is a little
Love
lengthy.
it. Okay.
I want to see Brandon Moreno rule over flyweight.
Okay.
I want to say him just see him
dominate.
stay as champ.
Okay.
But I would like to see Cejudo come back and fight him.
Oh, okay. Yep. You touched on that.
Yeah. Peter Yan versus Aljamain again for all the money.
You want to see like a nasty Yan knockout or?
I think that's going to be a brutal fight because I think Aljamain wants to prove that he deserves the title, but then
Right.
Jan's going to prove that he doesn't.
Okay,
So
that's
that's going to
fair.
be a great one. Corey Sandhagen is a fantastic fighter. I cannot wait to see him, and I want to see him fight Jose Aldo.
That'd be a good one.
That would be a great because they're
That'd
both
be a good
great
one.
stand-up
Yeah.
guys. That would be a freaking banger.
That would be. I don't even know who I would take for that.
I don't either.
That's a coin flip.
Yeah, that would be a good.
Yeah.
Most of the fights I try to make in my mind are ones where you just don't know who's
Yeah,
going to
no
win.
clue.
So, and then another one that's similar to that: Dominic Cruz versus Marlon Vera.
Okay.
So Cheeto
That's
Vera.
a good one.
Yeah, because they're both the same kind of
Yeah.
style. They're both like crazy wild dudes, and I think that would be a fantastic.
I would
fight.
like to see Cruz and O'Malley go at it. I think that'd be a fun one.
Cruz and O'Malley.
Because O'Malley, I don't know if he'd have an answer for Cruz's weird style. But
Yeah,
then
'cause it's
Cruz withstand
Yeah.
O'Malley's striking.
Do-
It's two
Dom-
different striking.
Dominic Cruz is like one of the hardest people to hit
Yeah.
because his head movement
Yeah.
and his like his footwork is like second to
Yeah.
no one.
Which that'd be a fun task for O'Malley because O'Malley is striking. He's walked through everyone.
Yeah.
So it'd be a cool battle.
I don't think he's there yet to fight Dominic Cruz because
Right.
Dominic Cruz is relatively high in the rankings.
Right.
He's really close to Marlon Vera.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to see that fight. I'd like to see Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. again,
Yeah.
or versus Volkanovski again.
Okay.
I'd like to see either of those fights.
I want Volkanovski again for Holloway.
Yeah, give my boy Max Holloway
Give
another
Bless
shot.
his title.
Yeah, and I think Brian Ortega deserves another chance at Max Holloway too.
Yeah.
Because he did so good against Volkanovski.
Ortega did good that fight.
All three of those dudes are just so good
Mhm.
that it's going to be hard to say. Like it's hard to pick one of those dudes over any of them.
And now Yair's back in the mix.
Yep, Yair Rodriguez. I want to
Featherweight's
see
getting strong.
after seeing him. Both these two guys lost to Max Holloway. I'd like to see Calvin Kattar versus Yair Rodriguez.
Okay, I like that.
I think that's the fight to make for those guys.
I like that.
Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje.
Same.
Yeah, that's what you said. I think Charles wins via sub, and then the fight, whoever wins that fights the winner of Islam versus Beneil, which I said earlier. This one's for all the money.
Okay.
I think Chandler versus Poirier.
I run it back. Or not run it back.
I say they never.
I was
fought
thinking
before.
Oliveira for some reason.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. Both coming off a loss too. Okay.
I think that's the fight to make for Poirier now.
Man, Chandler would really need that one because he's 1-2 now.
Both of them,
yeah.
because Poirier just lost to Oliveira.
Yeah.
You know,
But Chandler's also lost to Gaethje, so he's got 2 now in a row.
I'd like to see Gaethje versus Poirier too, but I think first Gaethje deserves a fight at Charles.
Yeah, Gaethje should be next in line for a title shot.
Yeah, and if
And then
Gaethje
Islam.
loses to Oliveira, I'd like to see him versus Poirier too,
Okay.
because I think Gaethje has, just like Poirier had grown a lot when he fought Conor. I think that
Gaethje's leveled up for sure.
yes, he's leveled up a lot since his first bout with Poirier. I'd like to see that.
I agree.
You ready for this one?
I'm ready. Always ready.
Tony Ferguson.
Okay.
He needs something. And there's another fighter on that same weight class that needs
Okay.
something, and that's Conor McGregor. I think Tony
Whoa.
versus Conor. would
Can
be
you
a
imagine the
great
sales
fight.
on that? That'd be a big one.
That'd be a good fight to watch. I don't know. Tony. Okay, so Conor is fucking tough as shit and punches. Everyone that's fought him says he hits hard as hell.
Right.
And Tony Ferguson has been hit by Justin Gaethje's best shots and not been knocked out. So I think Tony
It's a great
versus
fight.
Conor would be a fantastic fight.
And there's that narrative that both are like washed now. you
Yeah,
know,
and
so it'd be
they've both
interesting
been
to see.
losing. I'd like to see Tony versus Conor more than I'd like to see Nate versus Conor 3.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite one you've said so far.
Yeah,
That's a
really?
good
I've been saying some good ones. I mean,
Okay.
I think Corey Sandhagen versus Jose Aldo would be a great
Yeah,
one.
they're all good.
So
That one just one I haven't thought of.
Colby Covington versus Vicente Luque. Both
Okay.
great stand-up guys,
Mhm.
and I think Vicente Luque is on his way up, and I think Colby Covington he's got his heels firmly dug in on where he's at. You know, if there's no
That's a good
such thing as Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington's champ, and I think Vicente
Right.
Luque is getting up there for needing a title fight.
I like that.
Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards. As much as Jorge Masvidal doesn't want to fight Leon Edwards,
Yeah.
I think
They need to
stylistically
go and
that'd
do
be a
it.
great fight.
Yeah.
This one's already happening. Israel Adesanya versus Whitaker 2.
Yeah,
That's going to be a good fight. I think
Yeah.
Whitaker is not the same Whitaker that fought Israel the first time.
They both leveled up. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I still think Israel wins, though.
Yeah.
I think Adesanya takes
It's
that
hard to
one.
bet against him in that division.
So, you remember Sean Strickland we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier?
the crazy guy.
Yeah, I want to see him versus Costa.
Okay.
That would be
Wow.
a bitchin' fight.
I can't stand Costa, so I would root
Yeah,
for
I think Sean Strickland takes that.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a good ass
Yeah.
fight because Costa's got so much power. But the problem is Sean Strickland fights at 185, I believe, and I believe Dana was so pissed about Costa versus Vittori that Costa has to fight at 205 now.
Yeah.
I'm
makes
curious
sense.
to see what they do
Yeah.
for that.
That was wild, that whole situation.
So another thing, I look at people who have lost recently and I try and match them up, and I think Kelvin Gastelum
Okay.
and Darren Till would be a good fight because both of them
Yeah.
need a W.
They're both coming up big losses.
Yeah, they both
Big
need W's,
names.
and they're stylistically, I feel like would make a good fight.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think that Darren Till is not that great
I
as he
agree.
once was. So I think Yuri Prohaska versus Jan Blachowicz
Okay.
would be a great fight because
Banger.
stylistically they're both
Yeah.
stand-up heavy
Yeah.
throwers. I think that would be a really good fight, and I think the winner of that fight's Glover for the title.
I agree. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I think that if I think Yuri beats Jan Blachowicz, and then I think Yuri beats Glover as
Yeah.
well. and
I think he's
gets
champ by the
title.
end of the year.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I think
so
he's
we're all in agreement.
yeah.
This
yeah.
will be cool next year to reflect and see how many of these we got right.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna have to keep this paper.
For sure.
Francis versus Cyril Gane.
That's gonna be
That hardest one to pick who wins.
I have no idea right now.
if it goes all 5, gone.
Yeah.
But Francis he's leveled up
I
so
feel like
much.
the longer
man.
it gets, it's going to benefit Cyril.
Yeah, Yeah, I think so too.
That's gonna be a one I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah,
Enjoy it.
you're not betting money on that one.
No way. Heavyweights are tough.
I think Francis, man.
You think so?
I can't. I wouldn't. I could bet against Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable betting against
I
Cyril
can't.
Gane.
I don't.
Not saying he's gonna lose, but
Yeah.
I'd feel more comfortable about betting against Cyril than betting against Francis. Because Francis is just, you're a split second away from losing all your
Right.
money.
That's like the Derek Lewis effect. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
can't
but-
go against
yeah.
Gane.
Uh-huh.
I bet for Gane every time the last like 3 or 4 fights, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So I just wouldn't even bet on
Right.
that fight.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't.
Eat popcorn.
Stipe versus Lewis.
Okay.
Both of them are coming off losses.
Yeah.
I think that winner of that fight gets the next shot at the
Right.
title. Derek Lewis doesn't want a 5-round fight. That's the funniest thing.
Well, Lewis just beat Dawkins too, though.
Yeah.
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 So
That's right. I said they came off losses, but he just beat Dawkins, which
Right.
is upsetting because it's
I
so
like
hard not to
Dawkins.
like Dawkins.
Yeah.
Is it Chris or Kyle?
Chris.
Yeah, Kyle's his
Kyle's
younger
the one
brother.
that fought Holland.
Yeah, that was a disappointing fight that we didn't
headbutt.
talk about.
Yeah, that was tough.
Kevin Holland versus Kyle Dawkins when no contest, which that fight made me love Kevin Holland even more. He's like, man, give the guy the W. He's
Right.
like, my kung fu that he learns is like protect yourself at all times, and I wasn't
Right.
protecting myself. You can
Yeah.
get hit with anything in a street fight. That'd have been an L.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's hard not to like him even more after that. So I think Stipe versus Lewis would be a good fight
I
because
like that one.
they fought before.
Yeah.
And I think that Stipe needs a W, and
Mhm.
Stipe's loss to Francis was very interesting. I think that's a good
Right.
fight. Chris Dawkins versus Alexander Volkov.
Okay.
I think that's the fight to make too because
I like
Volkov
that.
lost recently, and so did Chris
We
Dawkins.
need you to be matchmaker. These are good.
I don't want that job. I just want to say. I like my job now of just
Yeah.
saying fights I want to see, and then
Right.
hopefully somebody important sees it.
Right.
Probably not though. But I think that Valentina. This is switching to the women's division. I think Valentina and Rose need to fight for double champ.
That'd be huge.
Oh, Valentina.
I love Thug Rose, but
I think I would go Valentina as
I
well.
lit-
don't
this
think
is-
Rose can handle it.
let me read what I typed out. I think Valentina and Rose fight for double champ, and as much as I hate to say it, I think Valentina does it.
Valentina probably was.
Yeah.
Man, that would be scary for the division though, for Valentina to hold everything.
Yeah.
You know, because who's gonna beat her?
Maybe Amanda. Didn't Amanda beat her once?
Yeah.
Twice, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
if they rematch now, I think after seeing Nunes lose to Pena, you would have to go Valentina over Nunes, right?
I'd like to see Pena versus Valentina would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to see. I mean, everybody in the world wants to see this again. They want to see Juliana Pena versus Nunes again,
Yeah.
because the first one was so wild. And I'd also like to see Juliana Pena versus Holly Holm,
Okay.
because Holly Holm's a good stand-up fighter
Yeah.
as well.
That's a good take.
So that's what I got.
Sweet.
We went through everything that I have.
Okay.
Nice.
I was gonna ask, do you have any like bold predictions of like a fighter or something in 2022?
Islam Makhachev becomes champ.
Champ. Okay, I like that.
I think that's gonna happen. I
Mine-
think that style of
Yeah.
Khabib and him is just.
I agree. It's hard not to root for that dude.
I think it's just unbeatable.
I was getting it. I was gonna say Jamahal Hill is a top 5 light heavyweight by the end of the year. I love that dude.
I don't know who that is.
That was the one that got his arm broken by not Hermanson. The
But it
submission.
wasn't broken. It was just dislocated.
Yeah, it just popped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he came back and knocked out Jim Crew recently in round 1. So
Mhm.
he's got one of the best hands in the division. So
I think that Andre Muniz guy
yeah,
gets really, really big.
he's good. He's a submission phenom.
He's to go in and fight Jacare Souza, who is one of the best jiu-jitsu guys of all time, and to
Break his arm.
no, but before the fight, they were even they're like this Andre Muniz dude says his jiu-jitsu is better than one of the best dudes to ever do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's like, that's a bold fucking thing to say.
And then he
you don't
does it.
say that
Right.
unless you can do what he did,
Yeah.
which is what he did, and
Right.
and it's just
Yeah.
that's hard. That's hard, man.
And then he beats up Jacare's probably distant cousin, Ronaldo Souza, and breaks his arm too.
I mean, I think that dude's gonna go big.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The lightweight division's so stacked. I want so many people. I like so many people in that division.
You want them all to succeed.
I want Gaethje to get the belt. I
Yeah.
want Poirier to get the belt. I want Charles Oliveira to never lose. Like,
Yeah, you want
all these
Islam to
things.
win.
yeah. I want to see Beneil Dariush get as close to it as he can.
You want to see McGregor and Ferguson bounce back.
That would be a
You
bitchin'
know?
fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would. It's in my head now.
I hope it's a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
I hope it's a 5-round fight.
Wow.
But I don't think they'll make that the main event.
Mm-mm.
Well, they don't make Conor anything but the main event, so
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to say
Yeah.
because do you make? I mean, it's not going to be for a belt.
No.
You can't. I mean, I don't know. I'd take
That'd be
all
a
my
good
money.
like
I want to see
Apex
it.
one.
Yeah. What was one of the other ones I said that I really liked? I think you got to see Volkanovski versus Max Holloway again. I think that Sanhagen versus Jose Aldo. That's going to be a good fight.
There's a bunch of good ones, man.
It's going to be a good year.
It is. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a
2021
good
was
year.
really good for UFC.
It was.
It was.
The only thing it was good for.
Yeah.
2021. You started
We
your
did.
your social media
Yep,
stuff,
we
so
did. Yep,
that's
it
awesome.
was
The
good.
podcast started in 2021, so
Huge.
I mean we can focus on the negative stuff as much as we want, but
Right.
I've got the podcast to what it is now, which
Yeah.
to me is like come a long way.
Yeah.
Got,
2022 will be even better.
I hope so. I got a great guy
Manifest
helping me
that.
with social media stuff. We're
Oh,
putting some
wow.
videos out there. We got new equipment.
Yeah. On the come up.
We're doing things we love too, so I think that helps because then it doesn't matter if we get
Yeah.
paid or not. We're just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe one day we'll get some sponsors.
Yep.
and then
It'll be
get
fun to
things
see
rolling.
how a year from now looks.
I know the end of this year.
Yeah.
I wish I could just fast forward to it just to get a glimpse
Yeah.
where it's
A
at
little sneak peek.
because looking at it was February 20th of 2021 when we posted our first podcast, or into February basically, and those podcasts were recorded on my MacBook.
Right.
And now like it was like at my apartment
Yeah.
on the like dining room table, and it was just me
Yep.
and just trying to figure it out.
Now you got a whole setup.
Now I got the
Home
setup.
room.
We're on YouTube now.
Yeah.
We got Patreon now.
Yep. All that.
So the social media is gonna be bumping
Yeah,
too.
for sure. We're hyped.
Yeah, hell yeah! You excited?
I'm stoked.
What's I know that you're probably gonna be posting it later, but this probably won't make it up till then. What's your you got some 2021 goals?
2022.
Oh my damn,
See,
bro!
you did it. You came at me, Ryan.
Hey, you did it earlier.
Y'all
Whatever.
saw it. He saw it. Okay, so get in the best shape of my life, which is always the easy one to say. Last year I lost 30 pounds, but then I gained 20 back. So I was like,
How'd you lose 30? Did you do like a special diet or something?
I just drank nothing but water, did insane cardio, and calorie deficit. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that again and hhopefully stay on top of it.
Are you gonna lift weights too?
Yeah, I gotta go to the
Lifting
gym.
weights. You gotta get aggressive, bro.
Right, got to.
Got to.
You got to send me some training vids on what to do and stuff. Cause I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing in there.
Yeah.
I can run a mean treadmill, but
bro, the hardest part's starting, man.
for sure.
You got to be a beginner. You have to
Yeah.
be. You don't have to be great to start. But
Right.
you have to start to be great.
We like that.
Yeah.
I want to try to reconnect with old friends, just see what everyone's up to. I feel like last 2 years could have been tough for everyone, so you never know what people are at mentally. I want to go to more sporting events, so hopefully COVID kind of takes a back burner.
I'd love to go to a UFC event.
Right. That would be so much fun. That'd be a fun one with you guys. Want to have more self-care days. Those are huge. I think that's about it.
Grow the business more too.
Yeah. Continue just working towards everything.
Hell yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, I'm getting married this year,
Congrats.
and I'm
Huge.
excited about that. Work on growing the podcast and just continue doing what I love with the podcast
Right.
and making sure it's more than anything that I'm proud of what it becomes.
Yeah.
So
Love that.
keep going that direction. Try and make it something that not just I enjoy doing either too. I like to know that Colton likes what he's doing.
Mhm.
I like to know that you like what you're doing.
Right.
I want people that help me with the podcast or anything have anything to do with the podcast to be
Right.
nothing but good experiences.
For sure.
So,
I
I
had
would
fun
like
as
to buy.
always.
I'd like to buy a house once I get married. I'm hoping I can change career paths too and do something that I'm more interested in. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, the end of this year, there'll be a lot of good things coming. I'm
Yeah.
hoping, but I'm gonna be constant pursuit of those things. Now I'm doing this thing where I'm running 3 miles 5 times a week, so 15 miles a week. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it. Probably just for the whole month of January.
Okay.
It's
It's a lot of miles.
Someone's got to run them.
Yeah.
Someone's got to run them, and it started out tough so far.
Yeah.
But it's 30 minutes a day. It's not asking too much.
Yeah, you can do it.
It's not asking too much. I'll just run around my house if it's what I have
Yeah.
to do. Ain't
Sure.
nothing to it but to do it. So
I like that.
Colton, you got any goals for the year?
Try to get better cardio,
Better
Yeah.
cardio.
get
Yeah.
in better shape, stay healthier.
Yeah. Normal things.
Same. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
The normal
huge.
shit that I do every day.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you? Have any goals with the podcast?
Just get it better, get it more consistent,
Yeah.
easier to produce.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Make it easier to produce and make it better quality for anybody who's absorbing it. Yeah. That's my goals.
Perfect.
Which I think we've done.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we've done so far. You know, might be
Steadily incline.
it's been little things here and there, but it
all
seems
you
like
gotta do.
huge things to us. You know, when we added
Yeah.
video,
Yeah.
you know, that might be something that people think is easy, but it was, you know,
Pain.
took some time. So, you know, I
Nothing's
hope I can
easy
get.
with technology anymore.
I hope this year I get some really good guests in here. I know I had some really good guests last year, and you know, I'm excited to see, you know, the opportunities that'll come through.
For sure.
So, you know, worst come to worst, I'll sit here and talk with Colton. If no one else wants to talk to me, I'll sit here and talk with Colton. If he don't want to talk to me, I'll sit here and talk to myself. Fuck it. I'll figure something out.
Awesome.
So, all right, Dylan. Thanks so much for doing this.
All right.
And
Appreciate you guys having me again.
you gonna announce it yet?
You talking about the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So me, Ryan, and Colton are talking about starting a UFC podcast, and we got the logo done. So
We're already doing something. We're doing this.
yeah,
and
we're already.
we just did a UFC
This is our
recap.
easy prep for it. So hopefully we do all the pay-per-views, maybe some of the little ones here and there, but we're excited.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get Dylan to do his do parts of that podcast.
Yeah.
where you talk about upcoming fights before they
Right.
happen
Uh-huh.
and your predictions.
Try to break them down instead of writing
do it as
thesis articles.
Yeah. So we'll talk some more once we stop recording. But
Yeah.
I got some ideas for you.
Okay. Dope.
So, all right. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're not following Dylan, it's Dylan Always Chillin'.
That is correct.
And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so
All
much for
right.
watching.
See you guys.
Appreciate all of you. You guys make it worth it.
Boom.
See ya. Hello, everybody. This episode is over, but if you would like to support the podcast, you can head on over to the Instagram account to Somehow We're Adults and use the link in the bio to donate to the PayPal account there. All of the money that is donated will be used to make the podcast better. But either way, I'll keep it going. Make sure to follow the podcast where you listen to it for future episodes of Somehow We're Adults. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all for listening, and I'll see you next time.